What's up, everybody? This is Chris, and I'm one of the hosts of Crucial Tunes. It's a podcast where me and my buddy Larry, we sit around and talk about music. Talk about music we like, music we don't like. Talk about new music, old music, mainstream, underground. Talk to some local bands. Do it all. So if you like music, why don't you tune on in Crucial Tunes every other Friday on the Journey into Comics Network.
The following
Journey into Comics.
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 Network.
Production.
We're gonna fuck the sodomites in the heritage!
Warning, Podcastrophe imminent. This is Podcastrophe with Nick and Tyler. And Matt. Coming at you with a fistful of heritage on a podcast where anything goes and there are no safe spaces. This is Podcastrophe.
What's up, everybody? Dick here with Podcastrophe episode 73. And yeah, we got Tyler.
I'm here from the Charitage today.
Oh, yeah. We got Mr. Nick Maxson.
Couch.
He's on the couch. We got Chris
Couch and
Kerrigan.
couch.
What up?
And we'll have Matt here in a little bit. Y'all probably going to have to just share a mic.
But we are here for now.
Yeah.
We are here. The boys. Them boys.
Actually, I think he's here. He's here now. According to my doorbell.
The mat approaches.
The Matt approaches.
I mean, well,
Hi, Micah.
He can have the responsibility of the mic, and I'm just going to scoot to the middle.
Okie dokie.
Well, 'cause I'm-
We got a full house down here, Matt.
Matt, you can
Oh
just
my goodness.
Matt, you can just sit
Matt's
on my
coming
face.
in here
Oh, shit.
looking fly.
You don't need to sit on that couch. You can sit on my face.
Nice to meet you.
Nick.
Seeing you there.
Yes, that is me. A couple embellishments, but yeah, for the most part.
Still beautiful.
Thank you.
I remember taking that picture.
I like this guy already.
Yeah. So we're talking about the cardboard cutout of me and Nick and Dick over the Daft Punk, which has survived many a Doom Room show, whether it be at the actual Doom Room or North End Pub. And for the longest, I don't know how long it took me to realize my eyes had googly eyes put on them.
Yep.
And
It really added to it.
yeah. you can't tell because that's the way my eyes are actually pointing in the picture.
Down into the left.
Yeah, I was like,
Can we dress up as like daft dudes sometime? Where we dress up in
oh,
those
I'm sure
outfits?
we could do that, definitely.
No one's gonna get it
Tap.
except us and maybe like the people who are listening to the joke right now.
The Dapper Duo.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I gotta say daft somewhere because it's Daft Punk.
The Daft Dapper Duo.
Nate Phillips says Couch Guy is going skiing.
Come again?
Chris is skiing.
Oh,
I'm skiing.
He's got a dick in each hand
Oh, shit.
because he's the
hell
middle
yeah.
guy on the couch.
we don't gotta do that, guys.
A1 skiing right here.
We can though.
I'm open to anything.
It happens, man.
This isn't the proverbial
I'm
black
not gay.
couch.
$20 is $20, guys.
Right,
okay?
right.
No, it's just a brown couch.
I think I've got like $3.
Our
How now, brown
budget
couch?
couldn't
Rape.
afford the black couch.
Oh, man.
Take too much cleaner.
Nobody's budget can
I
afford
mean,
that black
I just got a black one. I mean, like next time I'll bring it over and we can set it here if it helps.
I don't know that we have
It
any
might be
more
a lot
couch
of work
space.
for,
Yeah.
for that. But,
We'll
I mean,
figure it
We'll just
out.
stack them like bunk beds.
I think the most
got so much
important
room.
part of the black
so
couch
much
is
room.
the
We'll do
sex.
karate in the garage.
Maybe.
So we could
come
probably
drag.
get over the fact that the couch is brown if the sex was still happening.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I haven't watched that movie in years.
That's my opinion.
Would we blur? Would at least one face be blurred out?
I
We're
want my
all of
penis
them.
to be blurred out.
Okay, so you're doing
It's like
straight
Jap-
from Japan.
It's like
porn.
straight from Japan.
And I want the woman's audio cut.
What the
I don't
hell?
want her saying like, "What the fuck are you doing back there?" Like, I don't need that.
I don't need
No,
that.
I want her words cut out, and I want my penis cut out. So you can see her getting angry at the sad sex I'm giving, but
you
you
don't
can't
know.
see
She
the
might
penis
just be
that's giving
getting angry to enhance the mood.
Hmm.
She might be
I'm
putting
also
up,
a fan of the anger sex.
The anger.
might be putting up some of those rage
Anger
hormones.
socks. Are you ready for the next beer?
I haven't even started this
no
one.
one has
Shit.
started. Okay. All right.
I was saving this because I smell the bourbon, and I'm like, oh man,
I don't
is gonna be
I don't
tough.
partake in bourbon
delicious.
flavored.
this is gonna be
things.
tough for me.
Bourbon or
but I'm gonna
bourbon
do it.
accessories.
I mean, it's not like taking a shot.
This is a beefy boy.
It's very beefy. I have no idea why I
How-
decided to start with that.
How long?
Well,
I don't
Decisions
know
were
why I
made.
did this, but I did it, and here we are.
Not the worst decision.
Did you sell her this, or is
it was
this?
in the clutch.
It's old.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I was looking in my fridge for stuff that I had doubles of, and that made the
Want to
cut.
give it a whiff? Like you can smell it.
Matt just
I
starts
mean,
licking
my,
it.
my honest opinion, though, I
Lapping
feel
it out
it's
like a
got
cat.
Nice, sweet little taste to it. It's definitely like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
It's beefy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's boozy.
Yeah. But it's like the icing on the cake. You know, you can't
Yeah, that's not
get
bad.
without icing. It's what it reminds me of. Is
I don't like icing.
that. I'm not a big
What?
fan of icing either.
As
but
I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate the cake part more than the
Honestly,
icing part.
yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I'm the guy at the kid's birthday party that just takes the like the corner piece that's 99% icing.
Drink the foam. Drink the foam.
I mean, I just want
Salty?
I just want all the emulsified
Oh, that is-
sugar goodness.
Yeah.
Honestly, can't believe you still have that
No,
one,
as-
Nick.
that is like a
I had two.
when you go to the Circle K and they just cleaned out the soda machine, and that is like
That's actually what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I've only got so many hands.
Oh, it's
This is reminding me of the cookies and cream nuggets.
What do you need me to do?
Hold this for a sec.
This is reminding me of the cookies and cream nuggets the last time they did it because it was nothing but foam. Or maybe not the last time, but the time before that. Remember when we kept giving it to people on our show and it just
And then
kept
they would
exploding?
open it, yeah, every time.
Wait, which one?
Was it
that?
Shane
Cookies
the
and
first
cream.
one for it to explode?
Yeah,
on?
and then it happened to my dad, not on the show, but he's like, I tried that beer you gave me. Just nothing but foam. Couldn't drink it. I was like, that is a bummer.
So on an off note, has anybody seen the mega like stuffed Oreos?
That's what I call.
That's a
Transition.
segue, yeah.
It just made me think of it. 'cause
Speaking of beer,
but
Oreos.
straight up, like they.
Oh,
they're,
no,
they're
it's cookies and
legitimate.
cream.
They're legitimate. I thought it was bullshit when I first seen it, but
Okay.
it is a real thing.
Yeah, no, I
And
thought
Brewlink
they were
Brewing
bullshit,
Company
too,
did a
and I was like, what the
fantastic
hell?
Oreo.
I mean, I can
Remember?
never get
Double O?
this
Yeah.
Yeah.
stuff. It's hard
I
to
think
make
I like
anyway.
the 450 cookies and cream more.
Yeah, definitely a little more chocolatey.
What did we have the peanut butter pieces?
I have two left.
Thanks.
I'm helping you since you have a limited amount of hands.
Besides
got
the
two hands.
fudge nuggets, I would say that the peanut butter pieces was one of my favorite stouts or dessert beers that they've done.
I can't. I don't have any of the fudge nuggets
What
left.
was that? Was it a peanut butter stout we were having at North End during the league?
Almost certainly, it was. If it wasn't the Nutter Cup, then it might have been
one
the white stout, which
the one with
was
the glass bottle.
Brewlink's.
That's how I remember.
Goodness, ivory stout. The ivory stout. It's very chocolatey.
Whichever one it was.
Did you just have a
absolutely
stroke?
delicious
Yeah.
That we had.
I feel like a stroke came through like a wind and hit a couple of us. I was sitting over here. My eye was
contagious.
twitching a little bit.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness,
Thought
that
I was gonna have
hurt.
a seizure.
No, I don't remember which beer you're talking about, but I know that they have the Nutter Cup down there. That's probably the one
Yeah,
you're talking
they
about.
they typically always have the Nutter
it
Cup,
the,
and I love that.
In a bottle, black label.
Black label bottle that tastes like chocolate.
It was something peanut butter or something. I could've
Oh
sworn-
no, that was DeClaw's
Yes. There you
chocolate
go.
porter.
Yes, that was the one we had. I like that one. That was delicious.
We got Evan Brown in the chat.
Evan,
Thanks for gracing Podcastrophe for once.
He saw it from that Brews page. I know.
Yeah,
he
he did.
I know he did.
He's never here.
Evan's coming to town this Sunday for Purdue game, so he's gonna come hang out at Taze with me for a little bit.
What?
First time trying Taze. I'm pretty excited.
I'm gonna give it another
I'm gonna have to
chance.
come in there.
What was the bad thing when you went? Or what was the thing that made you need to give it a second chance?
None of the food we ordered was right.
When did you go?
Like
Nearly after opening.
Okay.
yeah, none of the food was right. The service was awful.
I would definitely go back now, because...
No, I want to give it another try. Like, if I have a really bad experience in a restaurant, I just give it like 6 months and go back. I'm not one of those people that's like, me unhappy, never return.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
I was hired on before they opened, so I was part of that first influx of trainees.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It was, it was a brand new restaurant.
Right.
Restaurant, bar, brewery. Like, it was...
Do you want anything? Okay.
I wouldn't say that it was rough, because, it felt like it was going, but there were definitely times where things weren't working out. So, yeah. If you went in the first month of opening, absolutely go back. They're getting ready to celebrate 1 year.
Their pizza's really good, by the way.
And they're doing...
and that's part of the reason I want to go back.
I had it the other day. I got a crown over at Allure Dental right across the street, and I got a crown and immediately went right over there and had me a Pleistocene 2.0, and
pain away a little.
And I had
Drink the pain away a
yes,
little?
yes,
Absolutely. I feel that.
That anal pain.
That's called panal.
Well, that's just the cover.
Oh my goodness.
They don't call it Allure
When I got-
Dental for nothing.
When I got my wisdom teeth out, they did. They gave me where they IV it in.
yeah.
And
They
hit
say-
you with the nitrous too.
Count back from 100, and I made it to 97. I was
Count
out.
back.
And then what they did is when I came to, they all picked me out of the chair and took me out to the car. I looked at the clock. It was 15 minutes. They were able to say, we're going to knock you out for just enough time to get in there and rip these fucking teeth out. It was wild. Dentistry is wild.
So
It was wisdom teeth.
when I got my wisdom
They were
teeth
pulling
taken
wisdom
out,
teeth out.
they knocked me out, made me count to 10. I don't know how far I made it. Probably not very far because I can't
feel
count.
silly. I had about 1 second of silliness where, so right now the lights in the room, when you're looking at them, you can see that it's going up and down, and over there it's going in a circle. There's about 1 second where the lights just did whatever the fuck they wanted,
Yeah.
and you go, what the?
I don't
And
remember
there's
anything.
no time to think about it.
All I remember is them telling me to count to 10, and I know I started, but I don't remember anything after that. And then next thing I know, I'm in my bed. It's like 8 o'clock.
You're jacking off.
No, not.
You
not that I'm aware of.
subconsciously put your penis right in your hand.
Whoa! No,
Just beating that
I
thing
went
like
in
it
at-
owes you money.
I went in at 10 a.m.
Fucking beat it
I
so
went
hard it
in-
makes you breakfast the next morning.
At
I
10
love
a.m.
that Dongo's subconscious goes to masturbation. I'm happy that we have decided this.
Yes.
Good idea.
I thought I was hanging out. Then
I woke
looked
up
out.
and I was coughing
I was
blood up
hanging
and
out.
shit.
Oh, shit.
But then I went back to sleep for another hour, and this is from 10 a.m. to 8 o'clock at night. I was out, or at least consciously out.
That
I
was the
I was
day
awake,
that I
apparently.
got into Black Mirror.
Yeah,
I got home and I was feeling weird, but
I was 16.
I was awake, like I wasn't ready to sleep. So I hand selected episodes and moved through it because I heard that it's not continuous at all.
yeah.
So I watched probably 6 or 7 episodes of Black Mirror, and goddamn,
My wisdom teeth
just
experience
wild.
was very profound.
Oh, go on.
So I get in the chair.
Let's hear the trip.
They give me the IV, and then like right before they made me do the countdown, they hit me with the nitrous too. So not only did I
didn't
have
get nitrous.
not only did I have the IV, but I had the nitrous on top of that. So I didn't even make it 3 counts like Nick did.
it's so funny that they've got so many drugs that are just stupid powerful, and the human body is able to stay awake, like during birth, the epidural.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Directly into your spine.
Just like, we're gonna fix you the fuck up.
We's gonna fix you. But so they put the nitrous mask on me and said, "Okay, count back from 100," and I went 100, and I'm out. So I woke up. My wisdom teeth were impacted,
Oh shit.
so they were, they actually had to take a section of my jaw out with the tooth.
Oh my god.
So that's why they did.
He's had a rough life.
That's why they did the IV plus the nitrous, because when I went out, I needed to stay out.
Yeah, I get you. When did you get yours done?
My sophomore year in high school.
Okay. And
wow.
And then you got yours done within
August.
Okay, so very recently.
Yeah.
I was 16. And then, do you remember that night? It was like a year or two later. We were hanging out in my dad's kitchen, and he was drunk with his friends. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and he's just going on. He's like, "Yeah, I remember that time you told me you got your wisdom teeth taken out, and you told me about going on about smoking hoochie." I'm like, "What?
I've heard this story before.
What the fuck are you talking about, Dad?"
Yeah, I remember that.
And he's like, "You said you smoked hoochie." I'm like,
I
seriously.
did not say that.
I was like, seriously, what the fuck is hoochie? Oh, you know, hoochie. You said
No, I don't.
You
I don't know
lettuce.
what you mean.
the jazz cabbage. No, no, he's like, oh, you told me you were with your buddy Carl and you smoked it. You smoked the hoochie with him and you were so proud of it. And I'm like, oh, Carl, hookah.
Wow.
And he's like, yeah, hoochie. And I'm
Hookah is
like,
definitely one of those things that looking back is like, I was dumb.
yeah.
I probably.
I was never really into it.
Let's throw
Yeah.
some high fructose on this tobacco.
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was one of those kids where I was like, if I'm going to smoke something, I'll just go smoke weed.
Right.
That's what I
wasn't
told everybody.
I wasn't a big weed smoker then, so it was like I like the flavor aspect of it.
Yeah. That
No
was
transition.
where I stood, was the flavor of it. I didn't
Then.
really start
So-
smoking the other till I was
So I go unconscious in the chair.
Yeah.
I wake up in the chair, and this is quite a long time afterwards that I wake up. And the first thing that I tried to do was
Jack
get
off.
up.
Oh.
Was get up so I could
Get up or get up?
get up so then I could go to the lobby and jack off. I'm not gonna do it in a room by myself. I mean, so I try and stand up. Everyone
Why
in the
in the
room.
lobby?
Because he doesn't want to be alone.
So when you jack off, you want people to be
I want as many people
fucking
as possible.
CK Lewis over here.
So I try to stand.
Witness me!
Yes.
Make as much
Is
eye
it okay
contact.
if I jack off in this plant?
No,
I just wanted to ask. I just wanted to
It's
ask.
a hypothetical, okay? But so I try and stand up, and all the people in the room basically tackle me back into the chair, because legally, an endodontist or an oral surgeon is not supposed to let you get out of that chair unassisted, because you can fall and fuck your face up real bad. So they confine me back to the chair. I black out. I wake up later. I'm in a wheelchair being pushed out to the car. I get in the car, immediately black out again. 45 minutes later, I wake up and I'm standing in a Walgreens. I don't know what Walgreens. I don't know where it was or how much time had elapsed, but I was in a Walgreens in the frozen food section of Walgreens.
Looking at fucking pizza rolls.
Well, hold on. I
he wanted them
remember how
taquitos.
profound it was because, I came to, and I was by myself, and I'm just like facing all the freezers, and I looked down, and I had pre-made sausage gravy, like 4 packages of that, some pizza rolls,
So he got the pizza rolls.
a toothbrush.
Good.
Because you need that, right?
His teeth hurt. He felt that he brushed and they got rid of the pain.
Yep. I remember looking down at my arm full of stuff. No thanks. Is it still the?
Did you see all the trouble I just went through?
Yeah, but it's still the. Okay.
I want
I'll try it again. I'll try it
down
again.
here.
All right. But I looked down at my arm full of random shit, and I heard someone say "sir," and then I blacked out again.
Then I woke up in jail.
I woke up at home.
penis in hand.
I woke up at home at my kitchen table, dumping hot potato soup down the front of my body. So I had a bowl of potato soup that I was trying to just drink from the bowl, and it's running down my face, just burning the fuck out of me, because whoever was taking care of me made me this soup, didn't think that this guy's pretty fucked up still. He's just gonna dump it on himself.
Let's give it to
Like,
him anyways.
no, okay, sweetie, like, give it a little bit. It's real hot.
And you don't think that the numbing agent is gonna last as long as it does?
Nope.
So 8 hours later, you're trying to do it, and it's like, oh my god, that's incredibly fucking hot. But you don't feel it till it's there.
Yes.
Because all that's numb as fuck, and you're like, oh my god, what is going on? Like
That's exactly how it
you
was.
just dripped soup down your face.
I felt like such an idiot because the other day when all this happened for my teeth, I got a crown, I got and a filling, and they just shot it straight in. So first off, before they numbed me, and then they started going to work, and I was like, And they're like, you still feel that? I'm like, yeah. So they're like, all right, we got you. he sticks something directly next to the tooth. He's like, you're gonna feel warm, and then your heart's gonna start racing.
Adrenaline. They shoot you a straight
He
adrenaline.
shot it.
Epinephrine.
Didn't feel fuck all the rest of the time, and then so I'm leaving. I can start to feel it wearing off, like in terms of like I have feeling in my face again. And sometimes when you have something stuck between your teeth or something, you start like trying to shoot.
Oh yeah, you're trying to pick at it.
But like with spit.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're trying to irrigate it.
You're trying to
Yeah,
get it
that.
to pop
I was
out.
trying to do that.
I don't do that.
You've never done that?
That's so interesting. As you speak about it and I do it, I'm like, I know what you're talking about, but I've never done that.
So
I use the tongue.
I tried
tongue.
doing that, and like an idiot, that side of my mouth was still numb. So I was just drooling down my face. I'm like,
Like
God,
a fucking mongoloid.
no. I was doing that, and every time I did it, and I'm like, God damn it. Fuck. Damn it. I tried at least 3 times before I was like, okay, that is clearly not going to work.
Little pharmaceutical for you.
Right before my daughter was born, I had my second surgery on my wrist. Mm-hmm. And they take me back. This is right at the beginning, and they have a I forget what the fuck it's called, but basically I have a needle that's this long. It's very flimsy. They have to take it and put it down into my nerve endings through my shoulder. So it's coming down through my shoulder, and it's ending into my back. So it's about 10, 12 inches long.
The old nerve block.
Was. So as he's doing, he's like, if you feel any pinch or anything like that, let me know right away so I can stop so we don't do any damage. I hate doctors as it is. I hate all that shit. I just absolutely hate it. I always have. So he starts doing it. He gets about halfway through, and I'm like, oh my God! Freaked the fuck out, right? Scared the shit out of this guy, scared the shit out of the nurse. I started laughing. He never fucked up or anything. I just wanted to freak him out. They need to say they were not happy about it.
With a needle inside you.
Oh yeah, so, they get that in.
You know how you say they say don't fuck with the people who make your food.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with the people who have a needle in your arm.
I mean, I thought it was hilarious. It made me feel more comfortable. So I was.
That's what matters.
Why don't you like doctors?
I don't know what it is. I just do not like being in that situation where I have to deal with a doctor or I have to deal with a dentist or anything like that. I mean, you're talking to a dude that's got like 10 teeth left in his mouth.
You guys watch Metalocalypse?
And absolutely, I love Metalocalypse.
You remember that episode where they all have to go to the dentist or whatever, and they're like, man, dentists are fucking... I don't want some fucking guy that's suicidal, wants to fucking kill himself.
Wow.
That escalated
no
quickly.
different than arachnophobia or anything like that where you're scared of spiders. It's
Yeah.
really no different. It's just one of those things for me where I get very uncomfortable knowing that I have to be in this one spot and I have to stay there. Let alone I'm claustrophobic. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember standing outside of the shelters at Cedar Point, standing outside with my dad because I couldn't handle being around older people inside. I mean, it's just one of those deals.
I hate it when the dentist tries to talk to you while you have your shit like...
Oh, yeah. They take me back to the operating room. So I'm in OR. They're getting ready to start. They're talking to me and stuff. I'm shooting the shit, joking around, this, that, the other. I come to. Well, I don't ever have like the real major side effects a lot of people do have, where it's like, oh, where the fuck am I at? Oh, I'm choking on this big black dick like the bitch off Facebook. I never have that situation. It's always
Me neither.
It's always just
Thank
one of
the
those things,
Lord.
like, I come to and it's like, okay, I'm ready to go home.
I mean,
Teach their own.
The last time I was in a coma, I didn't get pregnant.
Well, that's a good thing.
But the time before.
Just
We don't speak
We
about
don't
that.
talk about that anymore. But so my dad takes me and he's like, all right, well, we're gonna stay ahead of the pain. He's like, so instead of just taking one pain pill, go ahead and take 2, stay ahead of the pain. So I took 2. Well, mind you, I'm still fucked up from all the anesthesia that they gave me. Like, I don't have the major side effects, but I'm still messed up. So I take those too. I'm at my buddy's house. So it's like, oh shit, hey man, I gotta take my medicine. So I take another one. Well, then he takes me home. I'm sitting at home. One of my buddies comes over, so I wasn't supposed to be by myself. So I had another friend come over. And as I'm sitting there with this friend, and I'm on Percocet 10s, which are extremely strong for a painkiller, I'm sitting there like, oh shit, I gotta take my medicine. So I take another one. 20 minutes later, shit, I need to take my medicine. I take another
no.
one. And he's not paying attention to what I'm doing until about the third time where I'm like, oh shit, I need to take another one. Mind you, this time I'm 5 in, and he's like, whoa, hold on a second, bud, and I already taken it. I'm like, no, dude, I'm good. Mind you, I'm sitting there telling him I'm good. I'm sitting there with Taco Bell, a $5 Crave box or whatever, in my lap that he brought me. Drooling on myself like, a kid that cannot control himself.
I am good.
And I'm telling him I'm good. Well, so then I go to take another one. I take another one 20 minutes later again. And I did it within 20-minute increments. And he remembers it
It's
too.
like,
where he's
really,
like,
Chris? Because I think you're lying.
See, the thing that I've dealt with before is running out of medicine.
Yeah.
When I need it. So, on the teeth, I specifically remember with the wisdom teeth that I was like, I'm gonna wait until it hurts. I'm just gonna wait until it fucking hurts.
They gave me hydro, and I
think that's what I
used
got too.
One of them the entire time.
I used them for a couple days, but I specifically remember when it was like, because you're numb for the first forever, and then when I felt it, I don't even think I did one the first day. The next day I took one, and it was like, it didn't feel good. Like you can't eat because your mouth is fucked up. So taking those really strong painkillers with nothing in your stomach, I remember feeling awful, nauseous. But it was like I'd rather feel that, because it wasn't like puke nauseous, but it was like you didn't feel good. I was like, I'd rather feel that than the pain in my mouth, because the only reason I go to the dentist, unfortunately, is when it fucking hurts.
The best thing for that though is protein shakes. As much as
Or fucking hydrocodons.
Well, no, I'm saying.
And I didn't end up using them all. I still had like 4 left over afterwards, because I was very good at rationing it.
Yeah,
but they give you that extra edge. Like, that protein shake will give you that extra part where you're getting all the nutrients you need, but you're not actually eating, but you're taking in all that extra nutrients to where it counters it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're still going to have that sick feeling and that, oh my God, I'm fucked up feeling. But
they gave me oxycodone with 1,200 milligram ibuprofen together.
Ooh, he was feeling good.
So, I mean, the first time I took the oxycodone, I was like, whoa, this feels good. And then I was like, wait a minute. What's this nausea knocking at my door? Oh, I have a bunch of holes in my mouth? Let me just go throw up and bust all my stitches. Like, like it was not good. Like, especially, we're 24 hours after the hot potato soup episode. So my mouth's not feeling great.
Classic.
Just on multiple levels.
So now you got the hot potato
Yeah.
soup.
Hot
That
potato
was
soup episode.
That was the number one thing I was worried about, was busting those stitches. Because I had fucking caves where they pulled the teeth. And it took months, where you put your tongue back there and you're like, oh my, you could feel the ridges of where your tooth was.
Yep, and you can't help but pick at it with your tongue either, because once you know it's back there, it's
Have you ever chipped a tooth? It's the same thing. When you chip a tooth and you notice it finally, it's just like, oh my God, it's there.
I've done it once, and it was during a catalytic mosh pit at Jerry Lee's at the time, North End now, and I just somebody's shoulder went right into my jaw, and then I was like, oh, that sucks. That's sharp.
Why didn't you try it for catalytic when they were looking for a vocalist?
No.
30%er, man.
No, I'm not going to drive to Indy. That's the thing, and I don't have the time for it. But anyway,
I've been trying so hard to expand that way. I commented one time, and a bunch of people jumped on it. They're like, dude, you should do it. I'm like, none of y'all motherfuckers have ever
none of
heard
you guys want me to
do cleans, But I'm definitely, something I want to try.
I told Dustin, I was like, dude, if you're ever doing a Lafayette show and you just want to, because Dustin's doing all the vocals now.
I know.
And he shared some videos the other day, and it sounded great.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, hey, dude, if you're ever in a Lafayette and you want to like have a song break or something like that, just let me know. Mm-hmm. Tell me what song, and I'll practice it.
Kind of guessed in.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah, they're so tight.
And I've heard that from the people that record them, and that's when you really, really know. You know, when you're able to say, like, it doesn't sound like much, but if they're playing at 180 beats per minute, every single member of the band is playing there. Not 179, not 181. Everyone is tuned right where they're supposed to be. And it's not everybody's cup of tea. It is mine.
It's fun. It's just good music.
It reminds me of other stuff that I used to like.
Yeah.
It's metalcore.
Through and through.
Better metalcore.
Everybody
honestly.
gives them shit because they're like, you guys are like just like Killswitch Engage, and they're like,
And Killswitch Engage is an amazing fucking band.
But you tell them that, and they're like, I think we're more like soil work. It's like, yeah, I see that. I definitely see that.
Why do we always have to shit on each other?
No, that's my point.
Yeah,
It's
for real.
The Pistons a lot dirtier,
Well,
my opinion. I don't know.
No, and I get it. I've been booking shows for this is 6 or 7 years now.
6 years.
And people have said, like, people comment, they're like, you used to book metal shows, and you don't always book metal shows.
who
Like,
fucking cares?
no.
You
I
haven't
book I book what I like.
Yeah, you've booked more than metal shows for several years now.
The majority of the time that I've been doing it. And
Would you book me if I labeled myself as an amateur yodeler?
yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Anyone that's listening or watching this, we're going to put this into the works.
We're working on
Amateur yodeling.
Can we get a
I love doing
Not
reveals
today.
like this
I'm not-
because
I'm
the
not
chance
warmed
of
up.
people hearing it
the
is
wrong acoustic
not
stuff?
necessarily
yep.
slim, but like I love announcing stuff on Brews with Dudes, and no one ever brings it up again. But I'll say right now, Podcastrophe exclusive. We're working on what is it? Tony Hawk 1 or 2, I don't remember. Goldfinger, Superman. Here I am, getting older all the time, getting older all the time, feeling younger in my. You know what I'm talking about?
No idea.
Really?
I didn't play either of those games. So
30%er.
Ska, punk, whatever.
Yep.
I played Underground.
So for LaffyCon, I've got a couple punk bands. That's all I'll say. Working on doing a cover set where they only play Tony Hawk music.
Fuck yes!
And
that'd be
we-
sick.
From the first 2, 3.
Oh, bet.
From the first 2, 3. From the first 3.
1, 2, and 3.
But
I'm picking up what you're putting down, man.
Smell what
Counting's hard.
and we've got several people working on the horns because it's a ska band.
Right?
And Nick Maxson is playing trombone at LaffyCon
Fuck yes.
on
Fuck
stage.
Yeah.
So prepare for that. It's gonna happen.
I'm excited for this LaffyCon.
Are you gonna wear pants?
Me too. Maybe
I
not.
mean,
Okay.
you never know.
No, I'm pretty excited. LaffyCon's gonna be fun. This is gonna be
No, when's LaffyCon happening again?
April 27th and 28th.
That's a good
Be
plug
there,
right
be
there.
square.
Night of the Round is coming back.
Good.
We're talking to Yavin 4. We've got the band playing Tony Hawk stuff.
Yavin 4 is good.
They're very good. I don't think the guy likes me. 'Cause
That's a bummer.
I'm friends with Chris Charles, and Chris Charles made. You were part of it. The gay comic strips.
Oh, those are great.
I was part of that.
Exploring,
Do not miss out.
and people take it the wrong way. You know, like I'm so weirdly in the middle. Like
Those
so
were
many
just
people
fun.
on the left are very like, don't you ever fucking say anything that could be misconstrued. And I'd like the right where it's like, we joke. I'm not saying that.
We joke hard.
I don't even want to say it because I don't want to be taken out of context. But you know, like, you know, if someone says that someone called us a faggot earlier,
Yeah.
and you know, yeah, it's a terrible word. It's a terrible word.
Yeah.
But I'm not about to cause World War fucking 3 over someone's
Offended by it.
joking. Is that person a shitbag for using faggot as a derogatory term? Sure. I'm not about to cause World War fucking 3 over it.
Well,
you know?
here's kind of the
full.
full.
From a standpoint of us, you know, everybody's different point of view on
just drinking.
everything. You know, when it comes to
I was getting ready to grab it.
Yeah.
You
No,
go
you
after it.
a homosexual
I want you to try
man,
it,
you
at
know, and hearing that, you know, they're probably obviously going to take way more
Yeah.
offense to me sitting here being like, oh, hey, you're a faggot, you know, like.
Well,
obviously, it is a very derogative term, and matter, I think, is worse than saying, "Oh, it's
Better than the last time I had it.
In all opinions,
Yeah,
at this point.
sure. I would much rather someone say "fuck you" than to call me a faggot or to call me a derogatory word that's.
It's a pure
you know.
insult that is taken in all different kind of manners.
But I mean, here's kind of the flip side of the coin, and it's not necessarily correct, but it's kind of the the way that I've modeled myself the last couple of years, especially because I'm an extremely abrasive guy. I mean, everybody in this room except Chris, I think, understands that I'm an abrasive guy. If you allow words to hurt your feelings, you are giving other people power over you.
Absolutely.
And you should never concede power to anyone else because it's totally unnecessary. And I'm not saying that you should be like so calloused and just so, so stone-faced that you're devoid of emotion. But if I say, hey, Nick, you're a dumbass, if that legitimately hurts your feelings, like, number one, you need to communicate that with me so that I don't do that.
Nick, you're a dumbass because you think Nick, you think that way because you're Christian. You're a dumbass because you're Christian. You're a dumbass because you're gay. You're a dumbass because that's not okay.
That's that's personally
with our buddy
somebody.
earlier. With our buddy
Putting it
earlier.
into a stereotype, essentially.
You can call me a dumbass, but you better back it up.
Right.
I want to hear it. You're white. You're black. You're brown. Bubba, that ain't gonna hold up.
Yeah, because
ain't gonna hold up.
We're all dumbasses.
Well, and I've brought it up on the show many a time, and anytime I debate anything with anybody, if we all just acknowledge the fact that we're fucking human beings, we are all legitimately 100% human beings, at least half of our fucking problems would go away overnight. Doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, purple, fucking rainbow, iridescent, fucking, it just doesn't matter. You're a fucking human being. Get over it.
And I don't, and I legitimately, for the entirety of my life, have never fucking cared. Just don't care. I don't care what you're like. The only reason if I don't like you, it's because of something that you've said. It's because of something you've done.
Right.
I've never ever said
I'm holding you accountable for something that you've done.
Tyler's wearing an Indiana University. Oh my God, fuck him. Holy shit, fuck him. Just because of something that has nothing to do with your character.
Right.
I mean, it has something to do with your character, but
my sister goes there. That's why I have this.
Delicious.
I wish I was iridescent.
I kind of wish you were iridescent too.
I'm
You've been real fucking quiet over there.
Pretty what, dude? There's no room to talk.
Get in there.
we're fighting. We're fighting for space.
Kick down the door.
We have two very strong personalities over here, and that's one of the reasons I love having Nick on here. It's because he's very opinionated.
Because he challenges
and
me.
he challenges him, and he has interesting shit to say.
And he's a beautiful guy.
That's why I keep talking. You guys get to talk every week. I only get to talk every
I
now
want
and
to say
then.
this. So, on Podcastrophe, we were drunk.
And I was dead quiet the whole time.
And you said something that really hit home for me.
I hope you didn't call him a faggot, because that's rude.
And this is the episode he comes out.
You were kind of like having like this drunken heart to heart with me. You're like, man, I know you only like to have me. You only want me to have me on the drunk show. And you don't want to have me on the regular show. And I'm like, what?
That sounds like something I would say drunk.
I was like, what?
I remember this conversation.
Well, it was always really difficult when we did it on Wednesdays.
Yeah, because you had band practice.
I mean, you do your own. I mean, we all have. That's something else we stress all the time on the show, how fucking busy we are. I mean,
oh yeah,
I fucking Sonic the Hedgehog speed grouted a bathroom like right before I came over here. Like, we're all fucking adults, man.
Yeah.
We can't just.
I want to say, I wanted to have you back on the show.
I technically left work an hour early.
What's that?
I technically left work an hour early today.
Damn.
My man.
I've wanted to have you back on the show for a while.
Yeah, we've both been.
It's just a matter of like.
I'm Dapper Dan.
Well, when we moved to Tuesdays, I moved into a house where I didn't want to really have anybody over.
Mm-hmm.
I was very ashamed of that house, and we only brought select few people over.
I bitched about it every week. Every Tuesday, I fucking bitched about having to record there. Like, it was that bad.
I understand.
The space was cool.
It was actually
It was a cool room. It was a cool room, but I understand where,
Yeah, the circumstances of living there.
Yeah.
The circumstances of living there was just terrible.
Imagine.
Honestly, like my last apartment, I hated having people over there. It was a very dark apartment. Needless to say, I love the fact that it was dark, because if you watched a movie or something, dude, it's great.
Like
the
in a
only
theater?
windows in my whole apartment were in my room. I had 3 windows in my room only. It was on a storefront. It was a really cool experience. It was a really cool area, but at the same time, man, it was so dark, and it just seemed so eerie the whole time you were there.
Yeah.
Imagine this. Imagine you laid down in a man-sized cat litter box, and the cats that take up residence in that abode never get bathed and wallow in their own excrement, and the only thing that they eat are like dead animals and asparagus.
Asparagus is good for you, though.
I mean,
But it
I
also
like
makes your
possum off
pee
the side of the
beefy.
road.
I mean, it makes your
Beefy
pee
indeed.
dank.
Like, in a few weeks, dead possum.
Beefy
and
pee-pee.
great stew.
Beefy
Great
pee-pee.
stew.
And then you like put a tanning bed immediately over top of that litter box and then just cook it 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Yeah, this house was just bad.
That's the way that it smelled.
This house, the owner and his pitiful excuse for a dog were just the
Which is
worst.
pitiful because of him,
Absolutely.
not because of
We
its
don't
own
have to-
existence.
So it wasn't necessarily a pitiful pitterbull, it was just a pitiful ownership.
Absolutely.
Okay. That makes
Absolutely.
sense. I understand. Because I have a pitiful pitterbull, because my pit bull is pitiful.
Matt, you came over there a few times.
Yes, sir.
Was my description pretty accurate?
Here's the thing: I can't really say because I don't really have a very good sense of smell. And I lived in Chicago, which is full of just pollutions that fucked my sinuses.
Right, so you were pretty much
So,
inoculated
Yeah,
to it.
I couldn't.
I'm immune.
I walked in and I'm just like, smells like that guy on the subway.
Great right now. Like, who got the air freshener?
Smells like home.
Is that Febreze?
Like, that must be
Oh,
some
shit.
Glad Extra, man. Like, that is some good shit. But no, when I would walk in and I would look at the sink, I'm just like, the fuck?
That's been there for 2
what is-
weeks.
I was like, that was there last time I was here, a fucking month ago.
Well, the thing is, like, we kind of gave up, like, a couple months in. Because what he would do is he would stay in his room all the time. But he would keep his glasses and plates and stuff up there as he used them, and then finally just bring them all down.
Yeah.
And then he would just put them in the sink instead of doing them, or put him in the dishwasher.
Instead of being a grown ass man.
Yeah.
I can't stand that shit.
Yeah.
And I kind of had.
I've
an
never-
issue with a roommate at one point in time where it was. I literally the whole time I had this roommate, I used one bowl and a cup, and when I would go to get another, because I was basically living off cereal and fucking whatever the fuck else I could drink. That was it. And I would wash those individual things every so often. Well, every now and again on a Friday before I'd hit the bar, I'd take them out of my room, which was one bowl, one plate, one cup. That was it. I
Yeah.
set it in the sink, and I'd say, "Hey, I'll take care of this later."
The thing
He
about
actually
the thing
got
about it,
angry about it.
the thing about it is, and Veronica from Foodies,
Yeah.
Walk Among Us, she posted something the other day about the gentleman whose wife divorced him because of the glass by the dishwasher. And I read it, and I totally, absolutely understand it because I'm the same way in terms of I've had a lot of different roommates before.
Hey.
Tons. I've had tons. Dick is honestly one of the only examples of roommates that I didn't end up fucking despising afterwards, because it was stuff like that. Like
shit.
hey, I'm gonna wash my dishes, you wash your dishes, and if you don't do it for a while, and I look at you and go like, dog, for whatever it's worth, I'd really like it if you just washed your shit and didn't leave it out. It's your decision. You can sit there and say, I understand, Nick. It is also my house, and I will do what I want. Bravo. Or you can say, Nick is my friend, blah, blah, blah. And he has expressed to me that this is something that would make him happier. And you always get to decide. You get to decide, is it worth it? And sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. And
Well, you could meet it in the middle and compromise, too, that whatever dishes are in the sink at the end of the day, whoever walks up to the sink at that point just does all the dishes.
it's just a matter of it's a matter of understanding that the things that you don't think are a big deal, because I don't want to put you in any kind of hole, Chris, but it sounds like you're somewhat lenient on cleanliness.
Right.
And in my head, because of my parents, I'm a clean freak.
Yeah. Well,
And you should be able to ascertain that, especially in the article that I read. It was about a loved one.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about
Absolutely.
Jess for a second. Jess and I have been together for 8 fucking years. She fucking knows, like, this is Nick's fucking thing. And is it irrational? Maybe. But if he just wants you, if that's just his fucking thing, if his fucking thing is to make sure that the dishes are clean, it's your decision. It's your decision if you respect that person enough to do what they're asking, or to say, like, it's our house, I don't want to do it. Tight, that's good for you.
Felipe and I
Guess
did a
what,
whole
Dick?
video on this.
Out of my 8 roommates, I'm not friends with 6 of them because people said, it's my place too, I can do what I want. Everybody always has the ability to do what they want. I don't have a lot of friends that I've been friends with for fucking 6, 8, 10 years. And the people that I am friends with understand that you gotta take... Yeah, sometimes you gotta do the things that people... that you don't want to do. You don't want to do dishes? Too fucking bad. You don't want to do your laundry? Too fucking bad. You've got to do things to fit into society. That is the price of civilization, is the ability to compromise with people and say, that's not exactly what I want, but I'm willing to give it up to keep this going.
My whole thing of it is I literally only used those dishes. I didn't cook dinner because I couldn't afford to fucking buy what I wanted to cook. I was one of those people, I wanted to be a chef out of high school. That's what I wanted to do. I never made it through that, but it is what it is. So for me, I would always take care of my dishes. Whatever I used, I would take care of. My roommate at the time was one who cooked. I didn't eat what he cooked because I didn't like what he was cooking. It was just shit. You know, it was bad food. I'm not going to eat it. I would rather eat a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch than eat your...
I'm not advocating for you to clean up other people's messes.
Absolutely. Well, this is where it became an issue, though, is he wanted me to do all the dishes. I was only down to clean what I had used because I was not cooking at the time or any of that. Had I been partaking in these dishes, you know, that he was cooking, or if I was cooking, yes, absolutely, I will clean up my mess. My whole thing with living with roommates is you're responsible for yourself and your mess. Now, if we all go in together, let's say it's all of us living together in a house, we all cook dinner together. All right, well, you know what? I don't expect one person to take care of the dishes, but hey, you do the first load and we'll do the second load.
So it sounds like we're dragging the fuck on. I have no idea where we were, but the point is you gotta be vocal about what the fuck you want. Dick and I never made fucking beautiful dinners together. Yeah. If Dick and I had sat in the kitchen and made beautiful dinners together,
candlelight,
then it's up for discussion who has to do the fucking dishes. Yeah. It's not if Dick walks downstairs, makes himself some fucking pizza rolls, walks upstairs, eats his pizza rolls. It's not my job to watch his pan. It's not my job to wash his fucking plate. That's his fucking job.
That's an exact scenario.
That's a matter of being a decent fucking person.
Well, that was my viewpoint of it.
In a video the other day, somebody referred to an idea that's called behavioral conservatism, and I hate terms and shit. But I'm very, very...
I hate vocabulary.
I really do.
Verbiage. I hate it. Me every time.
Well, no, because you hear stuff. You hear stuff about fake news, and you hear stuff about alt-right, and it turns into something where every time you don't agree, you slap it. You know, you slap it. It
becomes a stereotype in itself.
This different verbiage, and the idea of behavioral conservatism is the idea that shit is gonna go a certain way. There's a schedule. We decide how things go, and we execute it the way it's supposed to be. And that I'm absolutely that.
More of a
economically, and socially, I'm very, very left and liberal. But in terms of the way it works, because if you have a kid,
that's good.
Mm-hmm.
You've got girls, right?
I just have one. Yeah, but yeah.
And I'm sure she is rowdy as fuck. I've got a 7-year-old boy, and from the way I was raised by a cop. And I was the second son, and there was 3 boys. You did what you were supposed to fucking do, and it took a very long time. But if Dad says, jump, you jump. You jump. And if Dad says jump an extra half foot, you jump an extra fucking half foot. If Dad says do this, you fucking do it. It's the way that the world fucking works. You do what you're supposed to. And I think that way. I think that you have to instill that in... not just boys, but girls. You have to instill in people.
We have to instill that in human beings.
The world works this way, and you have to fucking do things. Right now, parenthood time, messes. Clean your messes. You can't watch TV until you clean your messes. And for a while, it don't make no fucking sense, but it has to be the thing. You have to just beat it into their fucking heads. And
kind of like last weekend when I had Carolyn, I just had my daughter, and she's 5. Well, it was one of those things where it's like, hey, we're gonna have a daddy-daughter date. But after the whole day of her playing with my buddies, kids, and stuff, it was like, hey, you guys need to clean up your mess. And my kids are very well behaved. I'm blessed in that matter because I was a shithead as a kid, so I don't know how I got so lucky. But my kids are very well behaved for the most part. And my daughter, on the other hand, she went and she cleaned her mess. We went on a daddy-daughter date. It was the reward to it, where it was like, hey, if you make sure your stuff is cleaned up, hey, we are going to go and take this date. And absolutely best time of my life. Took my daughter bowling for the first time. Great. Had a great time.
It all comes back to what I think I was getting at, and we might have gotten sidetracked, is you have to lay out, for the most part, the terms of engagement. With the people that you're roommates, you got to be like, if we're doing this, you got to do this. With kids, hey, you want to watch those fucking dumbass YouTube videos? You got to do this. You got to do this. Well, because if you don't do it, then it makes your friends, people, children, it makes them think that the way that they're behaving will work. You have to tell people, this is what I will accept. You don't have to be a leftist dickhead and say, like, you must do this. But we were hanging out with a buddy today that said some shit that I didn't like, and I spared not one fucking moment to be like, to say, I do not like what you just said to me, and this is why I don't like it, and if you want to talk about it more, I can. You got to be straight with people. Well, and it hurts. You're taught about us flying over from Great Britain and taking over America. You're not taught, that how we got where we were. You taught me about Columbus sailing the ocean blue. You didn't tell me how to do taxes. You didn't tell me about health care. You got to be you got to be honest with people, and you got to be able to understand where you're coming from.
I think from a parenthood perspective, I think one of the biggest ways that we fail as a society is if you acknowledge the fact that the world is a cruel and difficult to live in place, you are a radical extremist conservative, and you're just out to put your thumb over everybody and just oppress people, and it's bullshit. The world is fucking awful everywhere.
But you cannot instill a sense of nihilism. You can't install a sense of nihilism in your children, because what good does it do to teach your kids and the people around you that it's not gonna get better? Well, you can't teach people that it's not gonna get better. But you can tell them that it's really fucking bad.
It's really hard. It's tough, but you got to look at the bright side.
Not that you have to look at the bright side, but you have to do something.
You
are the person that can do something different.
Yep. You don't have to be an eternal optimist where it's all sunshine and rainbows and butterflies are flying out of your ass. But you have to acknowledge the fact that life is hard and it is difficult, and it continually gets more difficult as long as you ignore the fact that it is difficult.
That doesn't do you... blind optimism. Blind optimism doesn't do anybody any good.
Right.
You have to be able to understand the troubles that you're dealing with and think of an effective way to move forward.
When I think you have to be very careful in how you do it, but I think that, like, from the time that kids have the ability to really think and act themselves, you have to instill the idea that you don't get anything without earning it.
Absolutely.
And you can't bring others down in the pursuit of what you're doing.
Yes.
And I didn't. I didn't necessarily grow up that way and deal and have to overcome those things directly. But you've got to. You as a parent you mold the world that these fucking people live in, and these fucking little people are going to be us. They're going to be older. They're going to be the ones that are shaping the world that we're living in. And I do truly believe. I do truly believe that radical fucking fascism is not going to ruin the world that we live in. Well, I think the compassionate mentality is going to work out.
Absolutely.
I got beat.
Well, like for me, as
You're
a
in
kid,
luck. There's a toilet right there.
Right there?
Right inside that room.
Here I go.
As a kid,
Again on your own.
I was raised Roman Catholic. Okay, that was how my family did shit.
Me too.
As soon as
Weird.
I came from Ohio to live with my dad and my stepmom, it was all Roman Catholic. It was hardcore, embedded into my head, where it's like, nope, you go to church every Sunday. If you don't, you're going to hell, kind of shit like that. But what I've come to learn after having 2 children is it's one of those things where it's like, okay, for me personally, I don't really have a religious view. I'll figure it out when I get there. That's how I look at it.
Right.
But me personally, when it comes down to my kids, I don't have to yell at my kids. You know, I might raise my voice, but as soon as I raise that voice, boom, the kids know, oh shit, we fucked up. What did we do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
My kids have become immune to the dad voice.
Well, I've come to
You're not doing
know,
it good enough then.
is that
I was doing it fine.
Honestly, like, the yelling and screaming, like when I was a kid, you know, if I did something wrong, I got my ass beat.
Well,
I got my ass handed to me.
Yeah, me
Which,
too.
Don't get me wrong. I believe in certain circumstances that needs to happen to kids still. In a
Well,
manner.
there's a difference between disciplining a child and abusing a child.
Exactly.
It is not
There
apples to apples. They are not the same thing.
No.
You know, back when we were all kids, like, you know, us getting our ass beat, like, man, that was probably, like, to the core, where it's like, man, that's borderline abuse. But that was what we grew up on.
Did you get your ass beat, Matt?
Yes, sir.
Like,
His dad's a Marine.
like not just with the hand. I'm talking the belt, the extension cord, the wooden spoon, the whole.
What stopped my ass
Can I
beating?
get an amen?
Amen, brother.
Can I get a hallelujah?
I was gonna give you a hell yeah, but...
But like, I was raised by my grandparents. I had to go get my own Switch.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And for as long as I had to get my own Switch, I never picked one good enough.
The problem
Not
is,
one time did I pick one good enough.
That's the
in
point.
my opinion, this is the problem with kids now, though, is that's abuse.
Yes.
To me, that was discipline. You fucked up, you're gonna pay for it. Now, when it comes, like, if I'm disciplining my kids, for like I said, all I have to do is raise my voice, and my kids instantly know, oh shit, we fucked up. And dude, I mean, my kids will go to tears just for me raising my voice, not yelling, just raising it, where it's like, hey, serious tone.
Yeah, my daughter's that
And
way.
where do you draw the line? Because at this point, we decided very, very early that we wouldn't spank. We weren't going to do it. Because I remember from childhood that the number one thing that did it for me was loudness and yelling.
Yeah.
And you got it. And it's hard to explain that to a fucking kid that it's like, do you understand that when I tell you to do something, you don't listen, but when I yell, you do? You don't like it when I yell? Just do it
and I won't yell.
And the thing is you're trying to find the point where you're able to say that, which sucks, I, believe it or not, am your best friend in the fucking world, and you would be disgusted to find out what I would do to protect you. Mm-hmm. The world, in the darkest moment, hates your fucking guts and is not going to follow any rules. They're going to do whatever. You need to understand that there are situations where you need to do what you need to fucking do. It's a hard thing. I have no idea how we got this deep into the parenting hole.
That's awesome, though.
Well, no, it's a good...
It took me all the way up until the last, 2 years of my life to realize how hard life actually gets.
Oh, it fucking sucks,
You know,
man.
I'm 30 years old, and Nick was there through it for me a lot, during this time period. But everything always seems so easy. Well, then once you're on your own completely, entirely, 100% dependent on yourself, dude, I mean, that is a whole new aspect of life. If you haven't
Especially when you're not prepared for it.
And honestly, though, it's one of those things, when you come out of high school or you're going to college, you fuck a roommate.
I love
Get your place on your own so you can actually learn what it is to be an adult. Mm-hmm. And then you get a better aspect. But, kids aren't going to listen to what the fuck we have to say about it. They're going to be like, oh, well, that's the same shit my parents.
I'm somewhat glad I had roommates because then I learned that I hated roommates, but then I kept having roommates. This is the first time I haven't had a roommate in 6 years.
The only roommate I've ever had is my wife.
That I've never had a roommate.
And I still technically have roommates because I have a wife and kids.
But I've had enough friends who have had awful experience with roommates before Skylar and I moved in together that I knew that no matter what, I was going to do it by myself. Because, you were talking about you and Jess's thing is, one thing. Skylar and I's thing is, like, my thing is wet towels on the floor.
Yeah.
If you get out of the shower, so the way that I do it, I take a shower. I use a towel. The next day, when I take a shower again, I put that towel on the floor. That's my floor towel. Because I only use the towel one time. I'm one of those fucking
I'll use the same one all week.
Nope, I'm a high-maintenance guy. I fucking use that towel one time. I cannot stand fucking shower must.
But if you do it right, and you're able to communicate shit with people, because you don't
Communication is
understand
everything to everybody.
the point.
Absolutely.
And just admittedly, she's told me, she's just like, Nick, I don't know how to explain it, but you are 100 times cleaner than me. So the things that you think that need to be done, I'm not gonna do it. Period.
I'm the same
and
way.
You have to just understand that people are that way.
I'm the Jess in this situation.
You have different motivations. In my head, I go, counters clean, nothing on the floor. Everyone is different, and you have to decide for yourself if the people that you're dealing with and the things that they're doing, is it worth it? And you fucking decide for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily differentiating matters of being able to tolerate. Because holy shit, love Jess to the ends of the world. But it is a constant exercise in what you're able to tolerate. Because when I say, I want this, and she goes, I don't get it. Okay, then I'm going to leave you. Or deal with it. And every, it's like, okay, we've got our fucking things, and you have to decide, it's super, super fucking hard. Like, Dick, we've been friends for
6 years.
6 years. And there's times I didn't fucking like you.
Yeah.
And we get there. and it goes with all sorts of people. And the idea of spending, because we're young, all of us, every single one of us, we're young people, and the fact that we're able to hold on to 6-7 years, that's a long time to be friends, in a lot of different standards. Jess and I are a little longer. Brett, Zach, and I have been friends for like 12 years.
I was getting ready to say, you and I have been friends for almost 12 years.
Me and I.
It's hard to, like Tyler and I can get along with a lot of things, and the things that we don't get along about aren't dealt with every day. I don't put my laundry away immediately. It don't fucking matter.
Difference in opinion.
No.
It took me
cultivating human
We've only been
relationships.
friends for what, 8-9 years?
We've been Facebook official for like an hour.
It took me a long time. I mean, because she would get out of the shower and just leave towels on the floor. Well, my master bathroom upstairs has carpet. That's fucking wet towel on carpet with wood subfloor. I'm sorry, like, before I owned a home, I probably wouldn't have gave a shit. Now that I fucking pay that mortgage and I own that home and I got to be in it for, a fucking finite amount of time, like...
How many different ways can you say politely, babe, please?
Just pick the fucking towel up. Like, it got to the point where if I got out of the shower, because a lot of times we shower together, especially in the morning.
Yee!
It's faster, it's easier, it's convenient for other things.
fun.
There is sex.
There's sex and
I'm not a fan of showers.
I hate shower
Okay,
sex.
no, we're not going into that. Tyler's talking. We're not going into that.
Sorry, Tyler.
But I would get out of the shower and then before her, and then I would come back after she's got out of the shower to finish getting ready, and I'm like, I'm putting my deodorant on, and I turn around and I look down. There's a fucking wet towel on the floor. I wasn't the last one out of the shower. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you pick the towels up because you're gonna make the floor rock?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we had this
At the end of the day,
Like,
the only
I was getting to the point where I was having fucking aneurysms.
I'm
like-
right. I'm
Like,
right
like
there with
fucking
you.
Ric Flair. Like, I'm about to bust every fucking thing in my body that carries blood throughout. I
Yeah.
am going to
Eyes are gonna be
explode.
red.
And not to take away,
Beyond
and not to
that.
take away from how amazing Jess is. She is great. She's amazing. But her and I, we did a thing, and we have a little boy who is
You did the thing.
He's the greatest thing that's ever happened in my life. I'm really hoping it doesn't come to me killing people for him. But if I have to kill people for my kid, I'm going to kill people. And there's only one person in the world that is going to be in the same boat as me, and it's that fucking woman. And I'm going to do everything that I can to make her happy. And
same.
Because it's the understanding of, I think very highly of myself. I think more highly of myself than a lot of people do. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at someone and you say, why the fuck do I like Nick so much? Why the fuck do I like Tyler so much? Because of the things you do and the way that you act.
Honestly, yeah.
And
just like earlier,
and I think that a lot of that reflects in the way that I treat my child, reflects in the way that I treat my kid, it reflects in the way that I treat my friends.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand that every fucking tiny little thing you do, it affects people.
Yep.
You gotta be aware of that.
You're always making waves, whether you want to or not.
You have to set the example for you, yourself, your kids, your family. You have to set your example.
You can set the example or not,
Exactly.
but whether or not you choose to
is what matters.
You are.
Yep.
And
when I say I'm not going to try to be a good example, then Nick, you are preparing yourself to be the bad example
100%
of what is to be expected. Because I don't believe in.
With the bar tonight, the situation we had earlier, it was one of those things where it was like, no, I've known Nick since I pretty much moved to Indiana. I mean, Nick, me and his brother were great of friends all the way up till high school where shit happened. But, hey, it happens. We're fucking young. But it's turning into one of those things where Nick and I know each other to a certain level where, someone's saying something and I'm going to defend this person because I know, hey, this is what he's about.
We were straight up about to fight somebody.
Yeah, like I was ready. If
a
I
couple
got
hours
the
ago,
head nod, like it would have happened. I would have swung, and that would have been it. End of story. That's it. And if I'm getting my ass beat, Nick, please help me. Like that's all I had to ask.
I've not been in that situation in so long, but we were sitting there looking at this guy, and it's like, dude, if you say one more
someone
wrong
I know,
thing, what?
Is it anybody I know?
I'm not gonna say it on air, but it is someone you know, and he just kept saying stuff that I was like. And Chris kept looking at me. He's like, "Are you gonna let him talk to us like that?" I'm like,
okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna let him talk to us like that.
Like we said earlier,
shit, hold my hoops.
Derogatory terms to certain people, and when the way that it was put in context to us, it was just like, dude, Nick, like you give me the right look, man. Like I'm gonna swing, and like I just hope that we can get out of here before the cops come because. That's where it's gonna go.
We're seriously just dragging, so I'd love to see what's in there.
Hold on, right before you open that out, Nick brought.
I'm not opening this.
Nick brought up something that I wanted to talk about because it's very relevant.
No, we got to get this out of the way.
I want to hear what Tyler has to say.
Oh man.
Okay, so there is a young, impressionable man that I work with. He's 19, and
your new Cameron.
He's my new Cameron. Yeah, 100%. Actually, less competent than Cameron. But him and I were having a conversation about life and philosophy and all kinds of stuff because I like to talk about that shit.
Yeah,
clearly.
And I said, I'm gonna put something in perspective for you to kind of like to make you understand what it feels like to be a parent because you're 19 and you don't know what that feels like because it was relevant to our conversation. And I said, if my family was starving. And I went to you knowing that your food had family. And I asked you for it. Just for enough to get us by. And you told me, no, we're not going to give you any. I said, I would say, okay. And then I would kill every single one of you.
That's protection of your own.
I would kill every single one of you over and over and over again until I had the food to keep my family alive.
I've been aggressively angry at human beings, and there is anyone can argue with me. I'd love to. Nothing compares to what you would do to protect your family.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You hear the term and it sounds silly, and I admit that it sounds silly. You jump in front of a bullet. That does sound silly. I would let myself fucking die 10 times over if it protected my fucking child.
Yep.
And did I feel that way before I had a kid? No. Did I feel that way when Jess was pregnant with my kid? No. It's the moment that you're looking at that person, and there's no way to describe it. There's no way to describe it. Are you smart enough to say, the world's going to shit and I'm not going to have a kid? Good. Fine. Don't have no fucking kids. The fact that I'm able to have a kid is one of the things that makes me more human than any other thing. An iPhone can't make an iPhone. A Mac computer can't make a Mac computer. But as a human being, I can make another human being. And if you don't want to exercise that right...
And I can make that human being a good human being.
It all depends on their upbringing.
Yep.
But I understand that it's a beautiful, beautiful fucking... My dad had 4 kids.
That.
My dad got the full fucking spectrum, you know? Is my kid going to be the perfect kid? Almost certainly not. Am I going to do everything in my power to make him good? Sure. Am I going to fuck up? Yep.
Is my kid going to do shit I don't approve of? Absolutely.
It's a fucking experiment. You're experimenting with your own fucking life. And when I was born, I was given the option to fuck with someone else's life. And I took it. And I'm fucking with a fucking little 7-year-old boy's life. And hopefully he grows up to be a decent little person. And if he doesn't, then he had plenty of time to fix his own fucking life. It's not my fault.
Right.
You know, you got it, you know?
But the reason I brought this up is because, so he received that very positively. He's like,
Yeah.
you know, and we went into a deeper conversation because prior to having a child, your number one directive in your mind is self-preservation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That is subconsciously what you're thinking about 24 hours a day, 365 days a year,
How are you
is
gonna
keeping
present
yourself alive.
Some people aren't worried about this. Some people
Right.
are worried about the next fucking buzz they're going to get.
Right.
But yes,
But the moment you have a child, self-preservation takes second seat to
and it's
keeping
not
them alive.
you. It's you literally... Not a lot of people are able to comprehend the idea of passing the torch to something else. My life is the second most important thing in my life.
Yep.
And my son's is the most important thing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Is he as old as me? Is he as smart as me? No. Do I think that I'm the smartest person in the world? No. But I'm going to put my fucking self on the line for this other
For the correct guy.
thing, this other person, this is one of the biggest things that when I grew up, what do you want to do? I want to write stories, and I want to be a dad to a son. Boom.
Absolutely.
I'm halfway fucking there at 27. I'm halfway there. I'm in bands. I wrote stories. I wrote
you have.
stuff. Maybe I'm 100% there all fucking ready, but
It just depends on how you define success.
there's no way to describe what it means to be a parent. There's no way.
So
The
someone
wedding
else,
music is your story.
was listening
Yeah.
to the conversation, and they interjected after I said that. And the whole reason I brought this up was they are I would say, extreme left-leaning person. Their response was, "You're a monster," and if that is the society that you want to live in, then I would choose not to be a part of that society. And normally I would have taken the bait right away and played their game.
Yeah.
But my response was, "That's okay. I'll be the one that's alive." And then that's where I left it. But, we've heard Nick's spiel, we've heard Chris's spiel, my spiel. You're a dad, so I know that you're right there. But I wanted to hear Matt's perspective on this because Matt's not a dad.
I'm the only one without a child.
You're the only one without a child here. So the whole reason all the way back to the beginning I brought this up is I want to hear your perspective on it. I mean, because you don't have, and it's not a negative thing that the way that I'm saying this, but you're still in self-preservation mode and
would
preserving
disagree.
your wife's life mode,
I'm more there than self-preservation.
But I
Your
mean,
wife is the number one most important
She's my
thing.
number one priority. Take care of her. Take care of our shit.
That
Make sure she is set up for
whatever.
Success or to be
basically.
able to withstand life.
Let me say, if something happens to me, I want to make sure
she's
good.
taken care of.
she's taken care of.
Yeah.
That's my number one goal. I
But-
don't really give a shit what happens to me. If something happens to me, I'm more concerned about how my parents
Right.
are going to take it, and like my sister, and then my wife.
That
That's
is
all I
beautiful. That is beautiful to me. That you view your wife in the same way that we view our children.
Absolutely.
In the way that it's like, no, I committed my fucking life to you.
Yeah.
You are it. And it sounds like from what you just said that's what.
I come from
the
a
goal.
very conservative background,
and
where my dad was a
realistically-
Marine. My dad was very, very straight edge on this is what you do to be a man.
And this is how you do this.
Which is a huge theme in
And some of that toxic masculinity.
Well,
in a millennia of literature. To be a man is one of the eternal questions that's really, really hard to come to terms with. Mm-hmm. And that's really awesome. I love Jess. I love my old lady. We're not married. You're married. You were married as well.
Hey, that guy's married.
Yeah, I'm married. Sup?
And
I do things.
I want to partake.
occasionally.
I can say from a viewpoint of a single dad who I'm not with the mother of my children anymore. But at the same time, when it comes to the jump in front of a bullet, I will do anything to make sure that my kids are okay.
Right.
So if that means that I got jumping in front of a bullet for her, no matter how wrong she ever did me, I will do it.
Right,
If
because
that means that
because
she calls me
when
up
you're
and
not
says,
there,
"Hey, I
she's going to
can't
be able
pay
to
my
take care of
bills,"
your kids.
Exactly.
Yep.
But
Yep.
she calls me and says, "Hey, I can't pay my bills. I have the money to take
Then
care of
your
it."
kids
Is it
are
my
suffering.
responsibility? No, but at the same time,
You're
that
help-
helps my kids.
Yes,
Right.
My kids are in
exactly.
that situation.
That's how Miranda's been with her ex-husband in the past. Not so much now, but
and that's honestly kind of like the downfall though is when people lose that perspective of, hey, she has my kids. Like you got so many guys that are like, oh well, my baby mama this, my baby mama that. Well, they don't do shit for her.
You have to have a fucking grip on what it is.
Absolutely.
What
No matter-
it is. What is most important? Do I love this woman? No.
Or do I not?
But she's the mother of your kid. You have to
Person
make
you
it work.
gave
You
at
have to
minimum
make it
an
work.
18-year life commitment. But in all reality, no matter what, whoever you have kids with, that is a lifetime commitment.
Right.
It does not matter. Once they turn 18, no, okay, yeah, you don't really have much to do else with that.
As long
parent.
as they're around, you
But
need to be
until
around.
then- exactly. Until then, though, no matter what, eventually, hey, your kid's going to get married. Well, guess what? Now you're going to have to interact with this person. If you
Right.
can't have a peaceful interaction with your ex-significant other, your baby mama, your whatever the fuck you want to call
And
them.
it all comes down to fucking shit. There's no way that I'm gonna even entertain that shit tonight. Where are we living in a more promiscuous society? Absolutely.
Oh, fuck, look at
You
the
need to make
Renaissance.
sure-
Everybody was fucking everybody.
You need to make sure that
Yeah.
should
and there were
you,
paintings of it.
should you make sure that you're having sex with someone that you're willing to make these fucking commitments with? That's one thing.
Well, not just that. You just need to be accountable for your
your
decisions.
That's
Yep.
what I
I mean,
meant
if you're going to
by
make a baby, you
being
need to
a
be
man.
held accountable
Yep.
for it.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what I meant by being a man. Where
I've preached
I'm not very
accountability
handy.
forever.
I'm not one that
Not
can-
because you don't have the capacity to be, just because you haven't had the experience.
It's not something that I was really interested in as a child to learn how to do. I'll figure it out as
Yeah.
I go along. But I'm not one that's like, oh, like if my car broke down today, I'm not going to be able to just look at it and know what's going on.
Right.
But good point.
To me,
Somebody is gonna sit there and not know what to do.
Yep.
I'm gonna sit there with my broken car on the highway, and I'm gonna say, "I gotta fucking deal with this," and you're
Exactly.
gonna fucking deal with it.
Yep.
Some people are able to deal with it. Some people are not. How do you deal with it? I don't know. My car's broke down on the side of the road. I need to get my car off the road. What's the problem? My kid needs picked up from fucking school. I'm picking the kid up. I don't have the fucking formula for fixing the problem, but when there's a problem, you fix it. You fix it, and that is the defining thing. That is what makes that is what separates boys from men. That is what separates people that are gonna make it from people that aren't. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, and you're as a dad, you're not perfect.
Nope,
You as a
hell
dad, you're not
no.
perfect. None of us are perfect, but we're fucking trying. And
I have a suspended license, for instance, but I always figure out how to pick my kids up. I have my kids when I'm supposed to have them. I always make sure they get home the way they need to. It's a matter of taking the initiative to say, hey, I'm going to make sure my kids have what they need and they have the time that they need. in taking care of the situation. If
Yeah.
you can't take care of that situation, then you might as well step away. And I hate to say that, but realistically, as a father, if you can't go, oh, hey, this is what my kid needs, or even as a mother, hey, this is what my kid needs, but you can't take care of that, then at that point you need to step away. And I hate to say that.
I don't care if you can't come to a fucking. You can't decide exactly what needs to be done, but you have to be able to fucking realize that someone does.
And you have to be able to.
If you're sitting there saying like, I don't know what to fucking do, then you got to listen to someone that does know what the fuck they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You got to.
I mean, I have a similar situation where I was asked to give up something that I will never give up in my life, and that's custodial rights. I will never do that. I understand where she's coming from, but at the same time, well, if that's the case, then you need to send him this way because
Isn't
I
that
know I can
fucking
take care of it.
wild? Isn't that wild that when a child is young, you can argue in court about the ability to ever fucking see that kid again? I won't get into details, but I've got a family member dealing with a custody thing right now, and it's like, it's really fucking hard to determine, you know, legally who's best to do the fucking thing. Like, again, love you, Jess. She might not be happy about this at all. Like, we've had our moments, and we've had moments where it's like, am I gonna move out? Are we not gonna live together? But it's never got to the point where we're talking about arguing over custody.
Right.
We're not arguing over custody. This is our fucking boy. This is his fucking life. And if we need to teach him the mom and dad together ain't a thing. Mom and dad are together is a thing. It is what it is, but there's never ever been a fucking argument about like, you're gonna pay me so much fucking money in child support.
Exactly.
That's never ever been a fucking thing because and it might not be the case with other old ladies, but Jess never in her life will ever have to worry about me dipping or me not doing my part.
Yeah.
That dude is half my fucking life. I'm never letting him go. I'm gonna pay for every fucking thing he ever does. I'm gonna make sure that he's got every fucking meal he ever needs. I'm never fucking giving up on that shit. And there are people that are like, wait a minute. I can just say I'm not the dad and I can get out of this?
Right.
Fuck you, motherfucker. What are you talking about? How the fuck are you going to have a kid and act like they're not part of your life?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're so deep in this.
We are.
I got the episode title for this one.
Let's get out of it. Can we get out?
What do we do?
Let's get out.
Here we go.
Hold on. Episode title.
The shit
Daddy
got
Daycare.
Daddy Daycare.
Daddy Daycare.
All right.
Kind of like sugar.
The daddy
Nick?
daycare deepness.
You finally get to open your Christmas present.
Oh my God.
I've had it for like 3 weeks.
Oh, it finally came in.
It finally came in. I had to order it twice.
I wondered why you never said it showed up.
Savage, fucking hell yes in here for this.
It got sent to my old Abbey Lane address, and they wouldn't answer the door.
Oh no. Your keys?
Here.
I got mine.
I don't have keys, but I have knives, but they're in your car.
Push the button.
Sorry, bro.
Pull it open. Now slide it up.
He's opening the gift. He's
Now
cutting
we're
it
just
open.
gonna watch here as Nick slices open his jugular vein.
America, fuck yeah. Come and save the motherfucking day.
Black button. You did it.
I'm a man.
Man! Oh! You're a man! Can I get a hallelujah? Hallelujah! Can I get an amen? Amen! All right.
Okay.
Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah!
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
God damn it,
God,
Dick.
classic.
That's Laserdisc.
Dude, okay, so
Just got rid
okay, so this is how this went, and I'll let Dick jump in like halfway through me saying this. But he said, "Hey, I found
Wow.
right
This is Laserdisc.
right before Christmas." He said, "Hey, I found Nick's Christmas present," and I was like, "Oh yeah."
This is the most thoughtful thing I got this year.
I want to say this. Brandon Stone gave me the idea. He's
How
like,
did he know?
well, because he knew about. I've told him about the whole speed on VHS thing.
Okay.
And he's like, dude, you should get him Laserdisc.
This is epic. So I'll do it as fast as I can. I read an article, I think it was Vice, and they said that there's a dude that's collecting VHS copies of Speed. And this dude had tons and tons of copies, and his goal was to collect all of them. So I started collecting them, so that if he ever wanted to be the one, he had to confront me.
Fucking Jet Li.
So I've got...
Final boss.
I think at this point, I've got 8 copies.
You're like in Super Mario right now.
I've got 8 copies of Speed.
So if he wants to finish the collection, he's got to fucking come through you.
He has to go through me. And this is a big fucking part of it. So
unless he doesn't care about Laserdisc, but
give it to me. Give it to me. I need... This guy he has hundreds and he has thousands of copies of Speed on VHS, and he's trying to collect them all. So I want to build a big collection so that if he wants them, he has to challenge me in the open field.
That is honestly really hard.
Trial by combat.
That was like my first action-packed movie that I loved as a kid.
Yeah, same.
Absolutely. Where it was just like, oh my god.
So
man, this is dope.
so Blaine tells me, he said, "Hey, I got Nick's Christmas present picked out," and I said, "Oh yeah," and I had kind of forgotten about the Speed thing, so I didn't come
because we talked about it on the Doctor Strange thing, which I gave him the VHS for.
Yep, I didn't come to that right away. I was like, oh, it'll probably be something cool.
Are we doing that again? April Fools?
I would like to.
No,
I would really like to.
We'll see what happens.
We'll
see what Nate cooks up.
But he says, he's like, yeah, I got him another copy of Speed. And I was like, oh, you got him another copy of
I love that I'm part of the family enough that you know that is something I need.
Yeah, of Speed on VHS.
Nick needs a gift. Get him another copy of Speed on VHS.
And then he goes, yeah, I got him a copy of Speed, but it's not on VHS. And I was like, oh, you got it on DVD or Blu-ray. He goes, no, I got it on Laserdisc. Fucking Laserdisc? What?
The most obscure media format.
This is definitely doing the trick for me.
Yeah. Once again, I can't take all the credit. Brandon Stone, it was his idea.
All right.
I got an instant fucking hard on when he said that he bought you a copy of Speed on Laserdisc.
Technically, I bought him 2.
So I can only imagine how you feel right now.
The fact that everyone gets it. I love that everyone understands that that's one of my things.
It's like fucking Highlander.
I feel sad sometimes.
It's like fucking Highlander. There can only be one.
The darkness of this Podcastrophe episode. I sometimes feel so sad that... Who is that?
I don't know.
I'm scared.
I'm scared.
I don't even want to talk.
Well, I was thinking more of that Jet Li movie. The one.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I like that movie.
Very good movie.
That fucking fight scene at the end.
Super cool. I like the one where he's
superb.
I like the one where at the very end where he's basically just on the fucking
pyramid. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm gonna fucking beat all your asses, and he does. You know why? Because he's Jet fucking Li.
So I have a good.
He ain't no Tony Jaa though.
I have a good segue.
Jet Li Unleashed though. Come on, let's be real.
Fair.
I have a good new topic for us.
Okay.
So our good friend Pod Daddy Nate, the Podfather himself, brought this up on this week's JIC about more Electronic Arts controversy with
Star Wars.
Star Wars: The Old Republic KOTOR 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna have to sell it off eventually.
Okay,
I
so
just think Disney's gonna cut
okay, so this is the first question that I wanna
fuck EA.
I want to answer. I want to answer so bad.
Okay.
Can you ask?
I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna get there. It's gonna be huge. Okay. If you are Disney, do you let EA continue to run your franchise into the ground, pretty much with them not even putting forth material?
No.
Or do you fucking rip it from their hands and ruin that studio today?
Fuck that studio. Give it to the person who is going to do what they need to do. The thing that's been going through my mind for years is, and it sounds fucking crazy, and you can laugh if you want. Can you imagine a Bethesda Star Wars?
I don't want to now.
We don't need it.
I don't want to now.
We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about it. We need to. EA has a way worse track record than fucking Bethesda does. And what I'm talking about is taking an Obsidian or... Did I get that right? Oblivion.
Well,
Oblivion.
Yeah.
I'm talking about taking an Oblivion or a Skyrim and doing it Star Wars. I think you can do it. I think that you can do it, and you just need to give it to the right people. And EA is blowing it.
So here's the right people. You as Disney, you say, Mr. EA,
bye.
We are taking back our property. We own this. Your deal that we signed with you is now null and void. We're going to pay you this sum of money because we are breaching the contract. Go your separate ways. But we're also going to buy BioWare.
That's where my head was at.
We are going to buy BioWare.
I think that you need to understand that Skyrim was one of the best-selling games ever.
Right.
Period.
Games I was turned off of.
It did what it needed to do to turn people that were into the different genres. Because Skyrim, I never played Elder Scrolls. It did a good job of bringing the Final Fantasy people in with the KOTOR people. It did a good job of making a lot of different people interested.
The only issue...
And Star Wars is infinite. They're blowing it. The
only issue is that Bethesda, ZeniMax company, does not have the ability or the talent to tell stories in the way that BioWare does. They don't.
Sell it to someone that knows how to tell the story.
That's what I'm saying. So
sell it to someone that knows how to tell the story.
So in one fell swoop, you say, EA...
Lucas doesn't have any fucking idea what he's talking
about. EA, we're taking this back from you. Here's your money. We're also going to offer you money for BioWare. You buy BioWare. You partner with Microsoft, who should have bought BioWare to begin with before EA fucking grabbed their hands around it.
It's so dark. It's so dark because we're in the age where people are constantly fucking selling stuff. We need...
So Disney owns BioWare.
So they have... What is the best... What are the best...
This is my...
What is...
This is my fucking Eden. This is my utopia right here. Disney owns BioWare. They contract Microsoft to be the controlling...
Microsoft would be the publisher.
Microsoft would be the publisher.
BioWare is the studio.
Yep. So Microsoft puts forth the capital to produce this material.
They're great. But no, they're not.
And then Disney controls everything else. It's perfect. It's a win-win. There is no lose.
Nate Phillips.
You have to come to terms with when Skyrim came out. I've never played Elder Scrolls. I never played Elder Scrolls until Skyrim, and I got it, and I was in. I said, "This is what I've wanted. I'm a Final Fantasy guy. This is what I want." Bethesda's got it. I played some Fallout games. It's what I want. Bethesda needs to decide where they're gonna fall. If I could get a Bethesda Star Wars,
bet.
If I could get a Bethesda Lord of the Rings, bet. Bethesda Game of Thrones.
Well, there's
been talk
Bethesda
of that.
Is it. So Bethesda is it. Bethesda is the number one company in terms of games that are fucking getting...
Matt, you're shaking your head.
Everyone jokes.
Unless you're talking about Fallout 76.
Everyone's joking. And they flop. But I think that the thing that... This is what I want. Matt, please look at me. So the thing with Skyrim that I heard a lot of complaints about was the fact that it was very user friendly. And I understand that where I would want a more interactive game. But I understand when people said Skyrim was more interactive, that it opened a lot of new players, including myself, up to the lore. I want them to be able to continue the lore in Skyrim, and so while they're doing that, because they're working on Elder Scrolls and Fallout. Those are their big things.
Yeah.
And Star Wars is with EA, and they're flopping. I would love it. I would love it if a company that just as Skyrim, and the jokes are infinite about them making Skyrim again and again and again. I think if they were able to take a Skyrim model to something like Star Wars or something like Game of Thrones, that they could really get headway with it. And I understand that the licensing issues on that are huge, but I'm in the gameplay of, I just told you, I don't play a lot of games.
Yeah.
I only play a game or two a year, and the games that make it need to bang. They need to fucking slam. And I
Perfect example.
let this guy.
Fuck yeah.
I really want to hear what he has to
So
say.
I would agree with BioWare, and the reason why I would agree with BioWare is for the simple Mass Effect trilogy.
Well, not just that, but KOTOR, they did it first,
Well,
and they
So
did it right.
BioWare did KOTOR.
And
KOTOR was awesome.
Dragon Age.
And Dragon Age, yeah.
Dragon Age was good. I like
Did they do Jade Empire?
Yes.
Yeah, Jade.
So,
BioWare.
I would
BioWare.
agree with BioWare, but then if you wanted, like, let's say you want story.
A story. I want
Like,
a good
if-
gameplay and I want a good
If
story.
let's
KOTOR.
let's say if you don't want,
Gameplay was shit, but story was fantastic.
Story was amazing.
let's say it's not open world,
Okay.
why not a studio like Santa Monica?
Totally. Sony Santa Monica.
God of War?
Fantastic.
God of War 4.
God of War. I've not played a lot of the God of Wars.
Santa Monica's all God of
What I really
War.
like,
Yeah.
what I really like is the way that Square Enix, Bethesda. I like the way that they've set up the way that they're doing things.
I just look at Bethesda lately, and you could say the same about BioWare, but
Well,
Bethesda
BioWare is
lately-
under the shackle of EA, though, so it's
Yeah.
not apples to apples.
Yeah.
Are we agreeing that Bethesda sucks?
I don't
No.
think Bethesda sucks,
What-
but what I think right now
What
is
does
lately,
Bethesda?
The hard,
What
okay.
does Bethesda need? Because Bethesda has put out great Fallout games.
They need a
put
game that's not
They
broken.
put out one good Fallout game. Fallout 4 was not a good Fallout.
Fallout 4 was not very good.
They need a
Fallout 4
game
was
that's
not
not
good.
broken.
What?
Who did Skyrim?
Bethesda.
I tried to play Skyrim,
Bethesda
but I could never
Softworks.
get down with it.
Really?
So Bethesda and Bethesda Softworks are not the same thing.
The thing to me is that part of your model on top of making a game that really speaks to the people that initially played it. Like the people that played Morrowind. Skyrim's not their game. They made it more user friendly.
They made it more accessible.
They made it easier to play for people that were at the beginning. I'm a beginning player. I want these first games to be very
I need to look that
new user friendly.
I got it.
And that's what I really liked about Skyrim is the fact that it was the new Elder Scrolls is bomb.com. But Elder Scrolls
Play Oblivion.
they've been killing it for years. Oblivion, Morrowind, they've been killing it for years. So when they came out with Skyrim, I was like, fantasy, that's my shit. They're on top of it. I thought that they really, really killed it. And I just want to make sure that, because I really, really like that game, and the only complaints that I had about it were hardware issues. So I want better games. That's what I want. That's what and I've never played a good Star Wars game. So I want a big company to put
I
out.
like Force Unleashed, the first one.
The first Force Unleashed was the last
what
good one.
really turned me on more to a Star Wars game, and this might sound kind of cheesy, but the guys that made Until Dawn were based off the butterfly effect. It's kind of the same thing in an instant, not exactly, but I want something that's going to challenge me to say, hey, are you going to go Sith or are you going to go Jedi? How are you going to roll this out? How are you going to partake within this game? I mean, to me, putting something in that to effect to a Star Wars game, that would make more sense in my eyes. You know, seeing the original Star Wars. I haven't seen all the new ones. I will say that. But at the same time, it's like, hey, man, if this is it, like, look at it like this. Luke Skywalker, he had to make a decision. Fucking
That's
Anakin,
KOTOR,
he
man.
had to make the decision. It's one of those deals where it's like, man, you need to. I feel like if Star Wars were to incorporate, like the butterfly effect, like Until Dawn, a situation of, hey, if you do this, you're going to go towards this path. If you do this, you're going to go towards this path. If you do this, you're kind of in the middle of both. And I feel like that would make a killer game.
Rocksteady would be a good one too.
Rocksteady wouldn't be a bad one. Nate Phillips says
Yeah.
Insomniac.
Pod Daddy
wouldn't be a
says
bad one either.
Insomniac.
No, that wouldn't be bad.
So here's part of the reason Bethesda would not be a good one. Just hear me out.
I'm not feeling Bethesda.
Bethesda wouldn't be a good one for Star Wars because they are creating their own sci-fi IP in
the Fallout.
no, it's Star something.
I've not heard of it.
I can't remember what it's called.
Star Citizen?
No. Hold on.
Starfield?
Starfield, that's it. Yep, Starfield. They are creating their own sci-fi IP. So they're going to do their own thing. let fucking BioWare take control of Star Wars again.
Here's the
They
problem.
can tell the story. They can put forth the gameplay. They can do it.
Here's the problem with BioWare now, though. They're going to be constantly going with Anthem.
Anthem's not going to last the same way Destiny hasn't lasted.
Honestly,
That I'm not
maybe
too
the
sure.
People who made Horizon would be a good situation to make.
Yeah, but it's such a small studio.
It is, but I mean, look at it like this though. In the last,
What about the people that made
last few
Warframe?
years, the small studios have came up with bigger ideas than what a lot of the
I don't
bigger
think they have.
studios
They don't have a seasoned enough team.
No, they don't.
The people that made Warframe?
Yeah,
The people that made Horizon.
they've
Guerrilla-
made
Guerrilla.
they've put forth a free to play game that has the same content for
That-
fucking 7 years.
It doesn't have the same content, though. They release free updates constantly, and that player base has grown since launch.
But it's a multiplayer game.
It's really not, though.
But I mean, it really is.
There's there's PvP involved, but it's not really touched. They focus on PvE aspects
the beers are gone,
pretty much.
don't
So are the people from Warframe going to put forth the same caliber of story that somebody from BioWare is? No. You can't argue otherwise.
I'm not saying that
Because they're not. They're not going to.
Here's the thing, though. BioWare, like Bethesda lately, have not been putting out very good products.
Because of who?
We don't know.
Because of
We
EA.
We haven't.
They have outright said this is because of EA.
Bungie says the exact same thing about Activision. Is
Because
it true?
it's the EA and Activision are the same thing.
I understand this.
It is
but
the
does
overlord holding all the capital.
Hear me out. Just 1 second. Just let me talk. Does Activision
sorry.
make the development choices?
He needs to
of
be told that
gameplay
sometimes.
What? Say that again.
aspects? So does Activision make gameplay development choices?
Yes.
They don't.
Yes. They put forth the timetable.
I work with a guy that worked at Activision. They do not.
You have this much time to get this much done. You either do or you don't.
Yeah, you have a timeline. You have a timeline.
Who
But
puts forth that timeline?
All right. Well, you mentioned Destiny. Big Destiny player right here. Why did they take away many of the aspects from Destiny 1 and that didn't translate to Destiny 2?
To make it more accessible for new players.
Whose decision was that?
Activision's.
It was Bungie's. When Activision and Bungie split, everybody was like, oh, now Bungie can finally do what they did. You know, Bungie also said the same thing. They were happy about it when they split from Microsoft.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
But Bungie and BioWare aren't apples to apples. It's not the same thing.
It's a similar situation, though, is what I'm saying.
Would it
When-
be similar to the Call of Duties, how your Modern Warfares and your Advanced Warfares to your World War IIs?
That's
your
not-
World
that's
Wars?
not the
'Cause
same
that's-
situation, though.
It's still two different.
Bungie has never put forth a story of the caliber that BioWare has done in one game. All of Bungie's games together does not add up to one game of
I don't know.
BioWare.
Halo 1
Nice
and Halo
Little
2 were
Republic.
pretty popular.
BioWare game. I
The story is
remember
not
BioWare.
on the same tier.
That
You
was
can't
like my
argue
favorite.
otherwise. It's not.
Transcended a generation.
I mean, I don't really agree with that.
Halo 2 multiplayer.
I don't need any commentary from the peanut gallery, thank you.
I don't feel
I'm
like
just saying
it's a
Halo-
good example.
Halo 2 made the first-person shooter genre.
Halo 1 made the first-person shooter genre.
What
Halo
It
2
made-
made the multiplayer.
popular?
Well,
Yeah,
okay, no,
GoldenEye
you're
made
right.
the first-person shooter genre. Thank you,
yeah.
Nick.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
But
But one could also agree
Halo 2
Doom.
Fuck me where?
broadened it.
Doom,
Nowhere. Oh, you were right.
Quake.
I said, can I get an amen?
Oh, I was like,
Absolutely.
I heard fuck
Doom.
you, Nick. I was like, fuck me.
No, I
where?
said, fuck yeah, Nick.
Fuck yeah. There it is.
I'm just.
There it is.
I agree with BioWare. I agree with BioWare over Bethesda, but do I think that they can give you the greatest gameplay experience? No.
Why did Mass Effect Andromeda fail?
Mass Effect Andromeda failed because of
I don't know anything
Overhaul.
about any of this.
Because of EA.
Mass Effect dropout.
Because of two reasons. EA pushed forth the procedurally generated worlds, which there is no studio alive other than the ones that did No Man's Sky, and that's still a failure.
Even though they made it better, it's still a failure.
Yeah, it's still a failure.
Because it
There
just
is no one, there is not a studio out there right now that can do that successfully. And they pushed the Frostbite engine on BioWare. BioWare struggled with that engine during Inquisition. They expressed their concerns because of how difficult it is to work with during Inquisition. EA ignored them. Said, you're going to do this our way or you're not going to do it.
The thing that we need to come to terms
Andromeda
with is the fact that not a single fucking person who has any control over anything in America has even the slightest fucking touch on the pulse that is what the American consumer wants. Period.
Can I get America? Can we throw America in there somewhere?
Period.
America.
We're arguing about it and we're joking about it, but if I said flat out right now, Bethesda just got the rights to Star Wars, everybody, y'all be like, yes.
I think
despite all the bullshit. Like,
Just because it's away from EA, though.
If they were doing,
honestly,
yes, EA sucks. But the point is that when I say Bethesda rules, this is how they would rule. You'd be like, yeah, fine. You'd be willing to concede the fact that it's like yeah, Bethesda sucks, but they're doing what they're doing well, and these other things need it. I think Lord of the Rings was doing decent with whoever they're working with on
Shadow Mordor.
Yeah. Those are good games.
Yeah.
WB, by the way.
Star Wars needs help. Game of Thrones has no standing. Mm-hmm. We need to find a company that's willing to stand up and fucking do it. And I think that both Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and Star Wars, they've all got the ability to really drive these franchises into new directions. Mm-hmm. Because what I want I'm not the average gamer, Dick. We've talked about this. I'm a rare breed of gamer. I only play a couple games a year.
You're casual.
The games that I play are big ass games. Like when I say I'm playing a game, I'm talking about
this better be Pokemon size, motherfucker.
a big campaign. I'm talking about 100+ hours in the campaign. And when I'm not doing that, I'm doing a Mario Kart or I'm doing a Smash Bros, where it's a casual kind of just smashing.
You know what?
I think that there's a bunch of big names that need the representation. Personally, I love what Bethesda's done. So that's where I've been coming from the whole episode. I would love it if Bethesda was able to pick up one of these big names and do something with it. I just want somebody to do something big with. I know I've heard a lot of good things about Star Wars games. I want there to be a game that's like, dog, gotta play.
The big thing is getting away from those publishers, like you said with EA, that kind of, they do nitpick at things, but like what I said is, they don't necessarily direct certain aspects of gameplay.
You have to
sometimes that is the developer themselves.
Yes, but at the same time, if you push an engine and you don't give them another option,
when
they're shackled by that engine.
When the guys that were making the Game of Thrones fucking show, the guy who wrote it said, at the end of the whole story, this is what happens. What do you think? And he took in their fucking story. You need people that are doing your story to do it. The fact that George Lucas is so hands off, and that like Star Wars,
he doesn't own it anymore.
Star Wars decisions are being made aside from his fucking approval. It's hard to grasp on. But like with Game of Thrones, it's interesting hearing the guy say like the guy who wrote it saying this is what is supposed to fucking be, and we're in a very interesting time and place where it's hard. It's hard to find the perfect balance between how to interpret literary works into cinematographic works.
That's why you get Peter fucking Jackson to do it, man.
Peter Jackson is my favorite, is one of my favorite directors in the world besides Christopher Nolan, and he was able to take Tolkien's work and he was able to really do exactly what he wanted, and you can
still
almost
remain slightly true.
You can see it when he did The Hobbit. You can see where they forced him to do it, and it wasn't the same thing.
There's a reason why Return of the King was.
You need multiple storytellers. George Lucas is Star Wars, but you need J.J. Abrams. You need the person to help you transform your story somewhere else. George R.R. Martin.
Brian Johnson.
One of the greatest. He's the greatest storyteller since Tolkien. Period. But you need somebody to help convey the story from English text to visual. You have to be able to do that, and it's very hard for people to do that. And people complained about all the things about Lord of the Rings. And you're like, are you fucking kidding? They took 50 hours of material and slammed it into 50. You take those things into consideration. I'm really, really critical about the way that people interpret artistic works. You got to do it the right way, and you got to make sure that you're giving everyone the credit that they need. And George Lucas is in the middle of his fucking bullshit. Tolkien has no say. He has no say at all.
Because he's dead.
George Martin is very alive, and he's very much involved with his fucking decisions. It's interesting watching the way that people weave their stories, because I'm a storyteller. I'm very interested in the way that people are willing to give up what they're doing. So I have no idea how we ended up where we are. I have no idea what time it is, but
it's almost 8 o'clock.
I've been having fun with this. I've been having a lot of
You've
fun.
been having
With
some
this.
good
I have
conversation.
one more thing. I think I'll start season 2 of Punisher yet.
I
haven't
started
watched
episode
season
1.
of Punisher.
What? Actually,
What?
just
I
rewatched
didn't have
it all
time,
this weekend.
man. I'm just now getting caught up on Game of Thrones.
Okay, focus on that.
Don't push me.
Focus on that. That's
just-
important.
I just
Yeah.
made my
That's
wife
key.
watch all
Yeah.
of season 1 of Punisher.
Punisher is brutal as fuck, but I believe it. I've not watched a
I
lot
watched
of
episode 1 last night.
I've not watched
I've
a lot
watched
of Marvel
episode 5.
TV. I don't think I've watched any Marvel TV.
I haven't watched any of the Marvel shows except the Punisher.
I think the Punisher is it, but I think that they're
Daredevil's
doing,
good.
I think that
That's what
they're
I've
doing
heard.
a very good job, and his name
John
John Bernthal?
is slaying. I think John Bernthal is.
He's the reason why I watched it.
He's Wolverine. Nobody is ever gonna replace Hugh Jackman.
Rick.
No one's ever gonna replace Hugh Jackman. No one's gonna replace John Bernthal as the Punisher.
Well,
John Bernthal is the Punisher.
Well, and that's the thing. I've kind of stood strong with my opinion that the Tom Jane,
Yeah, Thomas Jane was excellent.
the Tom Jane as the Punisher film wasn't that bad. Especially
Wasn't that bad. No.
people don't appreciate fucking Travolta's performance in that
Yeah.
movie.
So
it was a
when
great film.
Nate, a couple weeks ago on Journey into Comics,
Yep.
he read the top 50 Marvel movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And Punisher was like 48.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Well,
Punisher,
the Warzone.
did better than Punisher.
Yeah.
It's got some
How?
interesting positions. There.
No, this wasn't his list. This was a list he was reading.
Okay.
And somehow Punisher Warzone got better than Thomas Jane's Punisher, which I don't even think the Dolph Lundgren Punisher was even on the list.
No. But so I really appreciated Tom Jane.
I
Bob fucking Seger's in that movie.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that film. I mean,
love Bob
from the
Seger.
score to the, for that short of a movie, which I don't need a 3-hour long Punisher movie.
No.
I don't. That would be
Not
excessive.
That's
and
what we have the
unnecessary.
series for.
You can't do it in a show. You need hours to develop the characters.
Right. So, kind of, especially now where we're at in the MCU, I haven't watched any of the Punisher because I just don't have time.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I don't have time for all the other bullshit, but I have tried to explain to people the significance of the Marvel cinematic universe because it is absolutely unprecedented. What's the number of movies? 18? 19? 20?
It's something like that.
I think
It's an
18's right.
unbelievable
Like 18.
amount of
We need to get
stories,
there with Star Wars.
Stories?
We need to get there with Star Wars.
and oh my goodness, Tyler.
Get Kathleen Kennedy out of that chair.
Yes.
It can happen because Star Wars is yeah. You're trying to convey a million different fucking ideas with your Marvel shit. You can do it with Star Wars, and
And you can do it easier with Star Wars. There's fucking space magic. There's space magic
They've
and
done
fucking
so many-
energy weapons.
they've done so
Just
many.
do it.
They've done so many fucked up movies. They do Han Solo, and they're like, "Oh, we need to slow down on Star Wars." Like, what the fuck about all the other dumbass movies that you've done for Marvel? All the dumbass movies you've done in the name of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you decide that Solo is the movie that you're gonna go, nope,
Which
nothing
wasn't
else.
even a bad movie.
No! No!
Nick and I are fired up. We are fired up.
You know how when you're watching
Jeff Bezos!
Oh, no. You did it. You did it, you son of a bitch. Jeff Bezos is getting divorced.
Yes, he
Jeff
is.
Bezos is a piece of shit. Jeff Bezos is someone that looked at the anarcho-capitalist system and he said, I'm going to take this to fucking steroid levels. Jeff Bezos...
I'm going to turn it up to 11.
He's one of the biggest pieces of shit that America has ever known. And just when you think that he can't do it enough, he goes, I'm going to make some deals with the American government. And you're like, no! But he does it anyway. And now we're stuck in the middle of this fucking disgusting web.
Triggered.
Jeff Bezos is taking over the fucking world, dog. That's all I got.
Jeff Bezos and Disney.
He lost half his fortune.
Jeff Bezos buys Disney.
He lost half his fortune to divorce, and he is still one of the richest men in the world.
He is the richest man in the world.
I paid him yesterday when I ordered some stuff off of Amazon.
Don't buy off of Amazon.
I'm buying from Walmart, so
I buy almost exclusively off Amazon.
But yeah, anyway, Punisher.
Nick is broken temporarily.
I'm going on episode 5. I started it last night.
Season 2 good?
Season 2 so far is really good. You have Jigsaw and Pilgrim are the villains.
Okay. I remember you were one of the first people I actually got to talk to about Punisher on this show.
Yeah, dude, because I heard it was really good, so I was like, it looks good. I like John Bernthal. I'm going to give it a shot. So I watched it, and I watched it all in one night because I was, like, addicted to it. I didn't go to sleep that night.
That's me with Game of Thrones.
And that was how I was with Breaking Bad the final season. I just wanted to finish it. I know we've talked about that, but But anyway.
I hate
we know.
You hate Mr. Cranston.
Well, no. I want to put... want to kind of put it in perspective. I hate Bryan Cranston as much as Nick hates Jeff Bezos.
No.
I do. Sorry.
Nope.
I do.
No.
Yep.
No.
I haven't finished season 2.
I love it. It is a great show. I watched season 2, 1 and 2.
I haven't finished season 2. I stopped watching.
Oh man.
I can't remember why I stopped watching.
So The Punisher.
I can't do it.
But yeah, The Punisher, fantastic so far. Story-wise, it started off very calm, and it was different than season 1, especially the way season 1 ended.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to
No spoilers, please.
I'm not going to give you a spoiler. And then you go to season 2, and it's very calm, different setting, and you're like, this is actually kind of nice. I like this. And then it just ramps up immediately, and it is, and it's just great.
Do you think we ever see
like 100% after the second season?
Do you think we ever see, like, so as far as Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, The Defenders, which was fucking garbage.
See, I haven't watched any of those. I've literally only watched The Punisher.
I watched a little bit of Jessica Jones and I watched a little bit of Luke Cage, but I've only watched Daredevil in entirety.
So
Daredevil was a good one.
So I'm glad that you brought that up because I kind of forgot about it because I also haven't watched Daredevil.
I haven't either.
But especially
so good.
Okay, so especially where the MCU's at right now, we're gonna have Captain Marvel, we're gonna have Endgame, and then Far From Home, and then as of now, that's all we've got.
Yeah.
Wasn't Far From Home coming out before the rest of them?
No.
Far From Home is after Endgame.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So we've got those 3 films, and then as far as the MCU's roadmap, that's what we've got. We don't know anything after that. We know potentially, what they're talking about doing, what they could possibly do in the future. There's a lot of talk about the Fantastic Four making their return.
Absolutely love that.
See, I hate the Fantastic Four, so
I wasn't a fan of Fantastic Four either.
To me, they're one of the original superhero teams.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
and
They're known as the original family.
I would like to see John Krasinski as
and
Mr.
we've talked about that.
Yeah,
so
I think
if
it'd be
you're
really
gonna do Fantastic Four, I think Krasinski's your guy for Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But as fans of and I'm gonna include myself in this, even though I haven't watched them, of the Netflix / Disney streaming service Marvel shows with The Punisher and Daredevil specifically, do you transition those characters with those actors into MCU 2. I'll label it.
I don't think they need movies.
I would.
No, but here's the thing.
By themselves within the show
No,
alone.
no, I get it, but Spider-Man and the Punisher have a relationship. Spider-Man and Daredevil have a relationship.
They do.
Don't give them their standalone movies. Make more Spider-Man movies and bring fucking John Bernthal in, where Spidey and the Punisher team up for a whole movie.
Yeah.
Because they have outright said that they're not going to have any Avengers films for a long time. They're not even thinking about it. Mm-hmm. Well, don't give us Avengers. Give us Punisher and Spidey. Give us Daredevil and Spidey. Tom Holland is...
Avengers movie that's coming is Captain Marvel, right?
Say that again.
That's not an Avengers movie. That's just the regular.
Is that just the regular one?
That's standalone.
It's a solo.
Okay, it's a standalone. So,
So-
it's like the introduction.
So don't give us big superhero team-ups. Don't give us the full team.
Ensemble.
Thank you, the ensemble cast. Tom Holland is still at the beginning of his contract, technically.
Well, I think with what you're
Get
talking
John
about,
Bernthal and Tom Holland together on the fucking big screen. That'll be good.
the small ensembles are going to be the things. They're gonna continue with that. They've done that since the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Where Iron Man 3, you had for a very brief moment you have Hulk in it, and then we go to recently Thor Ragnarok. Once again, it's Hulk, and then we get introduced to Valkyrie, Loki.
I think
those smaller ensembles.
I think the Winter Soldier. I think
Falcon.
the Winter Soldier and Ragnarok are the two best examples of that.
You could say Civil War, but I mean that's basically just another Avengers
That's
movie.
just another. Avengers.
We originally all thought it was going to be Avengers movie.
Yeah.
But at the end, I mean, it all plays in the part where it would just run for Captain America at that point,
I
in
think
my opinion.
when it was originally announced, Civil War was an Avengers movie.
I mean, it realistically is.
No, absolutely. But originally, when we got you've seen the timeline pictures of like, this date, this date, this date, this date.
It said Avengers Civil War instead of
It did.
Captain America.
It did.
Yep. Yeah.
And then when did it actually change to Captain America Civil War?
Oh, I
I
don't
think
know.
when they
6 months
realized that
before
Captain
the-
America Civil War sounded a lot better.
I mean,
Like 6 months
I mean,
before the movie.
It worked as a
when
Captain America movie.
When it came to the end of it, it was more along the lines of a Captain America movie than an Avengers movie. I mean, I guess
focused
you could look
on
at it
him
as
more.
Sums up
It
at
did.
the end, which, yes, at the beginning, the whole time, pretty much all the way up until like the last fucking, half hour, 45 minutes of that movie, it is basically, like you guys said, an Avengers movie. It incorporates everybody, where it's like, oh, this is Avengers. But at the end, it also just incorporates where it's, hey, no, this is my boy from 1940, whatever. I'm backing him up, and it turned into the Captain America movie, where they kind of made it all work in its own sense.
Yeah.
I'd say with what you're talking about, bringing like John Bernthal, or I don't know the actor that plays
I
Matt
can't
Murdock,
ever remember his name.
But,
I don't either.
but bringing those guys into, let's say, the Spider-Man films, I think it would be like a cool Easter egg, but not something that
It doesn't.
would
I don't
like
think it needs a full movie.
No, I
No,
think it would just be cool. As,
And don't get me
you just see
wrong,
him in the
I don't
background.
think that they need to be like co-star for the whole film, but having some interaction with that character.
That's what I mean. Like small Easter eggs.
I
like
think
that,
it would be
cool.
better.
But I like them in their own kind of universe as like an MC, like not even a.
MCEU.
I guess it
Expanded
would be.
universe,
I guess
yeah.
it would be an expanded universe.
Because,
but I would
I
like
mean,
them to introduce people.
I don't
like
know about you
Blade.
guys, but when the Disney streaming service launches with all that shit on it, I'm gonna have it.
Yeah, period.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, I would like
Sorry
I said.
about ya.
I'd
Star
like to
Wars.
see them do that more
I'm curious to see how
with
Which
like
is
Blade.
stacked.
Star Wars.
Star
Stacked.
Wars is stacked.
Are they gonna follow all the separate?
They're
Different
they're
types of
moving
it, or
on.
what?
They're moving on. They're doing 2 different series. One of which is it's got the guy from
David
Rogue
David
One,
Benioff
Rogue
and
One,
D.B. Weiss.
Jack for a minute.
the guy from Rogue One that teams up with the girl and they both end up dying. He's the slum
Diego
fucking.
Luna.
It's a story about him, and guess who is one of the guys in his show? The guy who played Oberyn Martell.
Oh shit!
Bravo fucking O.
Wait.
Bravo.
I thought he was playing the Mandalorian.
he is.
So they're connected.
It's hard. Okay, so they're mixing it. They're mixing it
Twisted way.
That's cool.
because the Mandalorian is one thing, And it's
Which
another
is the one
thing.
I'm
They've got
excited
two Star Wars shows coming off the bat. And the thing to me is like, yeah, you don't need to make bullshit shows. I like your fun shows. I like the stuff that you guys come up with. You don't have to do Star Wars all day long.
Well, like,
Absolutely.
when Brandon and I first tried to launch the podcast Menace, one of the things that we were going to focus on week to week, or kind of month to month, I guess, was like really important characters from the EU that no one recognizes.
It's hard to try to give people a clear stance when there's not a clear stance with the company.
Mm-hmm.
So a character between the expanded universe and the stuff that they accept as canon, it's super hard to understand. But like we all fucking know, spoiler, like Maul is in. Yeah. Grand Admiral Thrawn is in. Yep. Like they are saying that these big fucking characters are in, and you have to let them do it. But I don't know how they've held on. You're laughing, Dick. I don't know how they've held on.
I'm laughing because I agree.
Because they've got this Star Wars. What are we talking about? A Star Wars TV show that is live action. We've been waiting for this since 1978. This is a huge fucking deal.
And the fact Christmas special.
It's a breakthrough with
the fact that Disney's got the money on it, because you're looking at the next best example is Thrones, who are saying 10 to 12, upwards of 15 million an episode. And you just know that it's fucking there. Because they get that the Game of Thrones mythology is there. I'm excited that Disney, no matter what the fuck they're doing in terms of their movies, they understand, like, Solo flopped. Sure, that's our own fucking fault.
Right.
This is Star Wars. This is the most important thing ever. This is as important as Lord of the Rings. This is one of the most, unless they were able to find a way to sexualize the Bible. The fact that they're doing Star Wars,
Mary Magdalene,
is a very, very, very fucking big deal, and they have the ability to have a cultural impact, and it's up to them whether or not they decide to do it.
Star Wars is the kiss of cinema.
Except good.
Except good, yeah.
There was no way that you watch the biographies, which I have, and they didn't expect it to do it. It's a story. I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
And I'm not writing stories for fucking Hollywood. But when you know that you've got a story and they had something with Star Wars, the fact that they're able, what are we talking? 78, 76,
77 is when the first one came out.
0. We're talking 4 fucking decades ago, and we're still able to make this story do something.
And you're still able to combine it all.
Well, and what I was going to bring up.
But you're talking about taking Lord of the Rings, which is a book, and breaking it down. You're talking about taking Star Trek, breaking it down. You're talking about Star Wars, breaking it down.
Throw Flash Gordon in there too, because that's what inspired Star Wars.
The way that you break the Bible down. Sorry, when you break the Bible down, you're taking stories and you're deciding what you're gonna fucking take from them. Mm-hmm. And every story ever is based off of a groundwork of morality. Every fucking story. So the fact that the Bible is very interesting. If you take the right stories, the Bible is super fucking interesting.
Doesn't matter reading.
But you Star Trek it, you Star Wars it, you Game of Thrones it, you're able to make it way more fucking interesting for people. And the only thing that matters in fucking the Bible stories or Christianity, fucking Catholicism, you're trying to convey a state of mind. You're trying to convey a way that you need to fucking look at the world. And you didn't think it was going to get to this point. But I base my life more on the ideas of what Luke Skywalker would do or what Frodo Baggins would do.
Yeah.
More so than what Jesus would do. I base it on these characters.
Or what
characters.
Would have done
Jesus, tight, good story.
Yeah.
Great story. But the reason that we made those stories was to get people to think a certain way.
Well, and that's kind of what I was gonna say, because you have characters like Dash Rendar. How many of us fucking played Shadows of the Empire when we were a kid? I mean, we lived and died by that fucking game.
Yeah.
Just in that game alone, not the expanded universe material. Just in that game alone, the stories
set the way
the
that
stories
you looked at
that
the
you
world.
can branch off with his interaction with Han Solo and Boba Fett. All these iconic fucking characters. Like, he's a guy that you could make a fucking show about. He's a guy who could be a character in a show that you are fucking pushing down everybody's throats, and everyone is willing to fucking eat it up.
We may never give George Lucas the credits.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Did he come up with a great story?
Absolutely.
Sure, but you have to give the people the credit that put it where it needs to be. Everybody says they hate the prequels. Everyone says they hate the prequels. But
Not me.
The thing I point to is episode 1. Where's the dark side? Dark side don't fucking exist. That shit's gone. At the end of the movie,
We fucked the dark side.
You and I are kicking ass. And at the end of the fucking thing, doors open, and a dude is there, lightsaber, double size, and you go,
Darth Maul.
holy fucking shit.
I didn't know there could be two sides of it.
This isn't, and Dick, have we talked about this?
Podcastrophe 2.
This is one of my biggest points, is that moment of standing there, no matter what you think about anybody. The moment that like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are standing there looking at Darth Maul, and he's just, poof, you go, this is it. When did evil exist? Thousands of years ago. That is evil. We are facing an unspeakable fucking terror. That is writing that you can't... Is Jar Jar bad? Yes. Is there bad writing? Yes. But you were able to take Darth... Who's Darth Maul? He is a dude that doesn't fucking talk. He don't look like a human. He's got a sword that don't look like no one fucking else. This is the essence of evil. This is the essence of evil. So that fight represented something that you couldn't fucking fathom.
Then you throw
the doors to a whole new
Fuck
level.
George
Then you
Lucas.
throw in Duel of the Fates on top of that, and I'm fucking hard
Yeah.
on
One
that.
of the greatest fucking songs.
Can I just ask though, like, with
One of
all
the greatest pieces of music ever written. I will go forever if you don't talk.
No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
So that fucking that moment where they have fought the whole movie, acting like we're trying to fight against the idea of evil. Mm-hmm. Darth Maul is real.
The idea is
strong.
real. Here he is.
And so the fact, so when they fucking are standing there, the door opens and Darth Maul's there, and he goes, and they go,
Like Jesus
this is the battle of good versus evil.
Yeah,
Darth Maul is
absolutely.
the ultimate enigma of evil. He's representing something that nobody has seen in thousands of fucking years. And what are Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan supposed to do? Nothing. They're facing the ultimate fucking evil. I love the idea. I love the idea of good being indestructible in the face of evil. I understand that it's not, but that's what makes Star Wars such a good story. Is that Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan were so strong that they were able to look up against unfathomable evil.
Now,
what could fucking evaporate in the corner there right now that you couldn't fucking think about comprehending? This dude he didn't look like them. He had a lightsaber that was blown off of both sides, and he was strong about it.
All fucking red and black
Evil.
and menacing.
Evil.
Looking like
he was evil
looking
incarnated.
like the devil and shit.
He was evil incarnated.
but like,
And I love that they were able to go through with that.
when they went back though. Okay, so we had 4, 5, and 6, and they went back and did 1, 2, and 3. Now with all those, there's such an expanding story on each side of it. So I mean, like, wouldn't that be something that they should have I mean, in my opinion, I feel like they should have brought it into a series, almost like how they did with the Punisher, they did with the Flash, where they kind of introduced it a little bit more to kind of put the story.
They were in the middle of doing something unprecedented.
Yeah.
Star Wars, them coming back for the prequels was unprecedented. That's what gave Marvel.
Absolutely.
That's what gave Marvel the okay to say that we're gonna do what we're gonna do.
Yeah. I just feel like they should have kind of covered some of the backstory a little bit more.
They were already doing
it.
it.
So much.
They were already doing it,
but to a point.
We're not. I'm not saying that what George Lucas did was the best, but what I'm saying is that George Lucas introduced an aspect of storytelling in the cinematic universe that was unprecedented.
Well, not just that either. Special effects.
No one ever thought
between Lucas and Spielberg, they pioneered special effects.
And
we would not have what we have now without those two guys.
100%.
They did. Nobody would have thought to do what they did if they hadn't. The only one that comes off immediately is the shark one, Jaws.
And
Jaws.
Jurassic Park.
They
also.
Yes. Jaws. Jurassic Park. That's what these guys did. On top of doing those things that were more easily accessible, they did this space stuff. And no matter what anyone says, I know you get it. It's hard to explain to people. Star Wars changed the way that cinema worked.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to
cinema.
Because no one was making money.
Maybe, but
Mark didn't make money. Carrie didn't make money. They put out the movie, and it blew up. And it was.
Well, look at fucking Harrison Ford. He was a carpenter.
Yep.
He was a carpenter on the set, and they said, "Hey, you want to stand in for this shot? Sure.
Hey, can you play this part?
Fucking
absolutely.
Read a couple of these lines, dude.
I mean, see where it goes.
This fucking guy's incredible. It's incredible.
Stories are. I'm very keen to stories where people are talking about how stories have evolved.
Split together.
And I understand that the stories that I want to tell are not necessarily original. You know, they're not necessarily things that people are going to hear and say like, "Oh, I've never heard these fucking ideas before." But it's very interesting to look back to people, and no matter what they like, it's interesting to say that whether you like it or not, Tolkien, Lucas, Spielberg, all of these dudes changed the way that movies worked, and whether or not you like the way that no one understands that movies, 2019, movies are less than 100 years old. Like, the way that we do things is very new. So
Planet of the Apes was a good example of it too, though, in my opinion. I mean, they took a storyline that was shit for many years. I mean, if you watch the originals, they were decent, but they were never great. But I mean, they took it to a whole new level. And it's the same way with Star Wars, in my opinion. They took Star Wars to a whole new level. And whether you can respect the storyline and the way that it was done and all that, and if you understand the backstory, you take it how it's perceived.
You take it for what it is. And what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of the greatest stories, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, they all base around the idea of rising against the power. And they have a very hard time trying to separate from what we're doing. And I personally, as a knowledgeable person, I come between arguing against the powers that be and acknowledging the powers that be and just saying that it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know? I'm a storyteller, and I really appreciate what people are able to do, because the way that you really convey your ideas is to sneak your story in.
Do it subliminally.
If it's way too up front, it's hard for people to understand. You want to sneak it in.
So yeah, Punisher's good.
Yeah, dude, for real. Yeah, Punisher's great. I'm only, I think I'm 5 or 6 episodes in, but I'm really digging it.
It's definitely worth the entire
Second season.
watch.
Second season.
I
watched the first, and I'm 6 episodes in on the second.
I'm on episode 5 right now.
It's good stuff.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Superhero though.
I think they need to bring Blade into the expanded universe. I think that would be a good one.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good at this
That's
point.
a way different storyline in a way. I mean, you got He's fighting vampires the entire time. I mean, how many you see Punisher fighting vampires or anything? Not really. I mean, it makes sense. I get where you're coming from, but I feel like it'd be.
I mean, I guess you could bring in Morbius.
Yeah.
True.
You're gonna do that with Spidey, though.
Yeah.
I would just really like Blade.
Did you hear about the Spidey thing that was in production for a while? Against the 6 villains?
Oh, Sinister Six?
Sinister Six. Yeah. They released... I heard that Marvel released promo to gauge reaction for Sinister Six.
I don't know anyone that wouldn't have a fucking hard on for that.
Sony with the Amazing Spider-Man.
You have to get over the idea.
Talking about him, like Chubb's gonna get more than just.
You got to get over the idea that they've been just passing it back forever. And on what's the new Spidey?
Far From Home.
That looks. And Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah, who would have thought fucking Jake Gyllenhaal, man?
I would have never expected
the one that was
him to be
supposed to take over for Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man when he fucked his back up.
The only thing I remember, and I hate being this fucking dickhead and everyone's gonna laugh, but I remember Jake from Donnie Darko. And I remember how much he sold the character. That's what I fucking care about. I want you to sell the fucking character. And they did a good job.
I want to be entertained.
I love that he wasn't a focal point. He just popped in. He's like one-liner. Flex. And he's done. And I like that. I like the...
Flex.
Yeah.
Tyler, Chris over here is asking about Venom.
It's one I have not seen yet. It's one I've been curious about.
Is it...
Hold on.
Is it MCU level? No.
Hold on. Let me ask this question.
Is it the best DCU thing?
No.
Possibly.
Did you like...
I don't count Nolan's stuff as DCU. Nolan was in a fucking...
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
DCU.
We're talking about Venom.
Okay. So I said... So what I was getting at is that I really liked Venom. But what I was also
we
implying...
also really liked Venom.
I was implying that it didn't match up to Nolan... But Nolan's films are not to be classified as DC or Marvel movies. The Christopher Nolan Batman movies, here it is, let's fight,
They're badass.
are masterpieces.
The first two are awful.
Absolutely.
Awful.
Awful.
I don't get it. I don't get why he rises.
I fell it because it was entertaining. The Dark Knight was not entertaining. I fell asleep. We've been over this many a time.
I gotta say, out of all the Batman films that I've seen fucking all of them in my lifetime, and Christopher Nolan's were some of the best ones I've ever seen. His storylines, they kept you intrigued.
Christian Bale was an awful Batman, and the fact that Ben Affleck looks better as Batman than Christian Bale does, that is all I need to say.
For what it's worth, then, and if anyone remembers what we were talking about, when I'm done talking, pick it up. I'm going to say real quick. Christopher Nolan
is a fantastic director.
Absolutely.
Best director alive.
Absolutely.
I would say. Whether or not you agree that his Batman movies are good, the way he did his movies was unlike anyone who's ever done a superhero movie.
Yeah, totally. I would never
argue that.
argue that.
I give him the credit for taking Batman in a way that no one has ever taken before.
Yeah.
I totally agree with what you're saying.
I definitely like Ben Affleck as Batman.
I think he's been the best Batman so far.
He has that persona where he's just that socially awkward guy, which might have a lot of money, but he's been through some dark times. Like he fits the
Dark Knight.
Of Bruce. He really
the Dark Knight was one of the. I really liked the first Nolan Batman. I thought it was a good origin story.
Yeah,
I thought
he hates origin stories.
I hate bad origin stories.
But it was a good origin story. I agree.
The Dark Knight. I don't know if I'm ready to argue this. The Dark Knight was one of the movies that they did a very good job of taking Bruce's character forward, and it also took you from 0 to 100 on Two-Face and the Joker. I thought it did a very good job of character development and finishing it off. I would love to talk to you about that. I thought The Dark Knight was one of the best movies ever made.
It was.
So to answer your Venom question, and then I'll get to you in just a second. Did you like the animated Spider-Man series in the 90s?
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
then you
Watched
will.
them all my life.
If you gauge Venom only off of that cartoon when you were a kid, you'll love Venom.
Absolutely.
If you compare it to the comics, to anything else, you will hate it.
Okay.
It's a very entertaining film.
That makes sense to me.
You're not comparing. You can't. To an extent, you can't compare what is being done to that which has been done before. I'm okay with a comparison to source. I'm okay with a reasonable comparison to the source material.
So most of the people that hate Venom because it's not comic era Spider-Man.
What got it to where I haven't watched Venom yet is the mixed reviews I've gotten from people. And I guess it's coming from the aspect of people
form your own
who
opinion,
follow
ignore
the
everybody else. Then you solve that problem.
Follow the show and so on and so forth. You know, the different viewpoints that you can take.
The thing you have to remember,
and
real quick, everyone's got a different opinion.
oh
Yeah.
absolutely.
Tyler
Which-
is an exceptionally smart person with really good opinions. I am a very smart person with good opinions, and we don't agree.
Yeah.
You have to form your own opinion and just decide.
And I guess for
where
me,
you're
that's
gonna
one of
fight
those
from.
things is where I can listen to two different opinions and I can see both sides of it. To where it's like, well, fuck, man, I don't even know if
Excellent.
I'm gonna watch this now.
Was Venom the
because
best?
it fucks me up.
Was Venom a great superhero movie?
No.
No. It was
Was
entertaining.
it a 6 out of 10? I would
Absolutely,
say, I would
all
say
day.
six or 7 out of 10. Was it the best? No. If I had to rate top 5 superhero movies, maybe not.
5?
But it was. Somebody described it as this looks like it was made in the 90s.
Yeah.
You're right.
I have it, yeah.
And I love it. If this movie,
Possibly.
if Venom was made in the 90s, it would be fucking tight.
Yeah, it'd
And
be
I
top
love-
10. It'd be top 10.
And the thing is that I want DC to do it. They will never. Period. They will never. So you have to just come to terms with
How do you wanna...
what it is. I went into Venom going, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Is it good? I don't know. I will fucking see. And it was what it was. I'm not that big of a fucking critic. And when you're talking about Marvel, 18 movies in, were they all great?
No.
No. They weren't all
Iron Man
fucking
1
great.
was awful.
But
Thor 1 was
unprecedented.
awful.
That is one of my most...
Captain America movies were horrible.
Here's a quick
What?
switch. That's one of my most fun arguments,
Superman
is
to me.
describing to people
When you look
what
at DC.
Marvel did. Marvel took Captain America, Thor,
Iron Man.
Iron Man,
The Hulk, fucking Guardians of the Galaxy.
and
You don't have enough fingers.
They gave them their own story, and then found a way. It took a while. They did it intermittently, but with Infinity Wars, you've got 40 fucking A-list actors in the same movie. Nothing ever, period,
Right.
no matter what you say, has come close to the cinematic experience that was Marvel Infinity Wars. And nothing has been that many people in the same story all woven together. It's a beautiful fucking thing. It is an unbelievable achievement of art.
I beg to differ. Batman and Robin was a pretty big,
Oh, don't you
I
do
honestly
it.
would agree.
Jesus fuck, Matt. You
Arnold-
son of a bitch, you
Arnold
brought that up.
Schwarzenegger, George Clooney, Uma Thurman. Let's be real,
So to
everyone.
get to the Dark Knight,
I'll give you a
okay?
high five on
I
that.
did not enjoy Batman Begins. I don't. Sure, it might be a halfway decent origin story. The movie was not entertaining. To me, it wasn't at all.
Agreed to disagree.
Christian Bale is awful. Awful.
What fucking way do you play a billionaire who has no concept of reality? How do you play them?
Ben
I think
Affleck does it pretty well.
I don't
Ben
think
Affleck
I
nailed
don't
it.
think that he did a better job than Nolan. I don't.
Val Kilmer did it pretty well too.
I was going to say Val Kilmer is the best fucking Batman there is.
Better than Ben Affleck. Anyway, you gotta let me finish before you argue.
I know.
So
badass Batman.
So issues that
Batman is cold.
Issues that I had with The Dark Knight. One, it's too long. Movie's too long. It's too long and too slow. If it's gonna be that long, it's gotta be pepping all the time. It can't be that slow. I fell asleep, Nick.
They weren't.
I'm one of the most easily entertained people on this earth, and I fell asleep.
Love that. My favorite movies ever are Nolan. So besides these, Interstellar.
Fantastic.
Love that movie.
But it was fantastic.
I did fall asleep in the theater.
Nolan.
Just briefly.
Tyler, this is it. This is where we're gonna get it. Christopher Nolan is writing stories that aren't to be interpreted off of the first fucking thing you see. When you look at Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Returns, you're supposed to be looking at it as a big picture. And
Okay.
I'll
evaluate it as one big picture. The first two acts of that big picture were less than subpar.
It's so interesting that I personally consider the first two amazing, and I thought the Returns. I thought Dark Knight Returns was where they dropped the ball. But I thought that, and there might be the one right movie that we can agree on, and I'll take anyone's opinion on this. I thought that for the most part, Nolan, with his 3 Batman, made 3 of the best superhero movies ever. Can you tell me a Marvel movie with a director that made a movie as intriguing? Because I fell for Batman Begins. I got the story. Dark Knight, The Dark Knight. I felt the story. And the third one, was there any one director for Marvel that did what Nolan did? Because Nolan wasn't writing DC movies. He was writing Batman. Right. And he did better than everyone. Yeah. Is there a Marvel director that made movies that are undeniably pieces of art? You don't like Batman? Fine. Whatever. You don't like Christian Bale? Fine. But can you seriously deny the effort that Bale put into those movies? That's what I'm getting.
I have a superhero movie that was better than The Dark Knight that came out the same year. And it's called The Watchmen.
The Watchmen?
Yeah.
The Watchmen is so much better than The Dark Knight.
Yeah, totally agree.
And it was in the...
Came out the same year.
And it was in the same vein of Dark.
Yeah.
Like Marvel
but it matched the source
material. Yes. Yes, that's what I love about DC is the darkness.
I would say as far as Marvel movies go, I would say James Gunn and Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's what I thought.
That's the best Marvel movie put forth thus far.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Are you guys Nolan fans?
I am a Nolan fan. Yeah. So to finish,
so when you look at his discography and you see Batman, in my head I go, yeah,
dope.
Fuck yeah, dude. You did these movies, and you did Batman, and you did a good job doing Batman. Because Christopher Nolan, Memento, Inception,
oh, man.
Interstellar, mind-fucking movies. And he did a Batman mind-fuck movie with The Dark Knight. I like the way that he did that.
So, to finish up the reasons why I didn't like The Dark Knight, I thought the pacing was too slow. So that's a better way to say it than I initially said it.
And too much Bryan Cranston.
Pacing was too slow. Maggie Gyllenhaal was
Maggie
awful.
Gyllenhaal. Totally awful.
Awful.
They should have kept Katie Holmes.
Anyone other than Maggie Gyllenhaal, and I would probably like that film.
Fucking
it was
Tom
awful.
Cruise.
Can we agree that... What was the first Marvel movie that was a serious movie?
Iron Man.
Yeah. Because when you watched Batman, Begins. They were serious movies. Yeah. They weren't your typical superhero movies. They were dark movies with a darker sense.
Punisher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, The Punisher was the first one. That was serious. Yeah.
It was dark. I mean, maybe Daredevil. Ben Affleck Daredevil.
We don't need to talk about that. But so pacing. That's Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I don't mind that movie.
Really appreciate. Obviously, Two-Face and the Joker.
I think they...
Not the best rendition of the Joker ever, in my opinion.
But I think they did a great job, and fucking Two-Face nailed it. I thought they nailed it.
Two-Face was great. Heath Ledger's Joker always will be second to Mark Hamill.
You said second. I'll accept that.
Yeah, I mean, he's the second best iteration we have. What would you put in front of Heath Ledger besides Mark Hamill?
I think that
Mark Hamill's Joker made it so I will never accept anyone that does not put forth the level of performance that Mark Hamill did.
I fight for the idea that the guys who did specifically the newest Avengers, that's
the Russo brothers.
3, right?
The Russo brothers.
Mm-hmm. They did it. I do not have a complaint. I think that they did a fucking amazing job of bringing all these people together. And I think that Nolan did a fucking amazing job of bringing forth those characters that he was working with. And that's where I would put it. I would say Nolan's entire performance against the Russos in the most recent. Because I didn't like the second Avengers. I thought it was garbage.
I did too. Thank you.
Ultron's terrible.
The first one.
I agree with
the first one, mind-blowing.
Well,
it was it. It was it. I'm waiting.
It's mind-blowing because it was the first of its kind. If you go back and watch it now, it's honestly not a good
But you've got it.
There's parts of that film, though, that are still the best in the series.
The point is that they did things that no one had ever done. And that was only ever followed up by what the Russo brothers did in 3, which was an amazing feat. And I think that what Nolan did, Nolan wasn't trying to make the Justice League. Nolan wasn't trying to do that.
He was just doing Batman.
He was doing Batman. And I think that he did the justice in terms of, like, he looked at Batman and said, I want to do a Batman story. And he did it. Not many other directors looked at Captain or Thor and said, I'm going to do this character justice. Is Christian Bale the best?
Maybe not.
I won't say that. Is Christopher Nolan, did he do the best Batman interpretation? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, he made it the darkest. He did the best feel. Did Christian Bale do the best? No, not necessarily. But I like that in these movies that we're trying to really humanize some of these characters, and it's hard to get around Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan does an amazing job of making you believe in what these fucking characters were doing.
Believe in the world he makes.
I'm not saying that Batman's the best guy in the world, but Christopher Nolan did a good job of making him,
James Cameron?
Yeah. I mean, shit, he took movies to a whole new level. I mean, he took that series is going to become something major, in my opinion. I mean, the next movie comes out next year. I'm so excited for it. I've been waiting 10, 11 years for this.
Titanic, bro.
Yeah.
That's all you got to say.
Exactly, yeah.
And it sounds fucking silly, but he rocked the world with something before that. It's like
Terminator.
Was it Terminator?
Something like that.
Terminator 2.
Yeah.
And then he did, and then Titanic, then fucking Avatar.
Avatar was unreal. I mean,
Avatar was a
whole
movie
new
that
level
I never saw a preview for, and my friends were like, "Let's go watch it," and I watched it, and I fucking love it. And you fucking do those things, and one of the biggest accomplishments that you can ask for is to be able to transform people from the world they're living in into another world. And James Cameron's great at it. Chris Nolan's great at it. Fucking blah blah brothers. I've been talking way too long.
There's definitely a lot of directors that can hit those certain types of movies.
No,
though.
there's not. There is only
There's a handful. There's a handful.
And a handful consists of 5 fingers. And there's only one handful of people that are doing it. Nolan's one of them. The Russo brothers have done several movies. You know, they're in there.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams, he's in there. Like, there are these dudes that are fucking doing it, and they're shaping the way that we look at movies. And I'm critical. I love movies. I'm critical of movies, but I'm ready for whatever gets thrown out at me.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino. I feel like
He's doing Star Trek right now.
Quentin Tarantino's doing Star Trek?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Really?
Interesting.
Man, I'm so far behind on all of this shit.
I didn't even know that. I don't think I knew that.
I mean, it's true though. I mean, all these different directors have taken certain plots and certain characters and so on and so forth, and they've made it something way more than what it was ever made out to be.
Yeah.
I can agree with Nick on the Batmans. I loved all of those Batmans. I did.
I did too.
Because the storyline was taken to a whole new level compared to the old ones, compared to, when they tried to mix it in. Batman Superman was a horrible movie in my opinion. I like Ben Affleck as Batman. I liked he would have been a good choice for a lot of the Batman movies because he just has that personality.
He does the duality really well.
He does. I feel like Keanu Reeves would kill that part too, though.
John fucking Wick.
I really did. John fucking Wick.
I liked Batman versus Superman.
It was good.
Is it a good movie? No.
To me, the ending killed the entire movie.
Is it a bad movie, though? Absolutely not.
No,
the last
you're
30
right.
minutes of that movie killed it for me. I thought it was good until about the last 30 minutes.
It just has too many plot holes.
And it too many loopholes, too many twists and turns where it's just like, oh, dude, are you...
It was just very poorly written and directed.
I think it was more poorly edited.
I think that goes in hand with the director.
I didn't like Justice League either, though.
I like Justice League a lot.
I was not a fan. It didn't grasp my attention like I thought it would. I thought it would really grasp me a lot more, and it just kind of put me off. Where I'm like, man, I don't like how this is playing out right now. And I guess that's maybe what turned me off. Maybe I need to suck it up, watch it again, see what happens. Because, I mean, honestly, I did the same thing with Game of Thrones,
Justice League.
Where I would watch the first episode, I'd fall asleep at Game of Thrones for the longest time. Dude, years I did
So did his wife.
And then finally, dude, it was...
Let's talk about Game of Thrones.
3 weeks ago, Game of Thrones Season 1. I went and bought Season 1 and 2. They didn't have 3 and 4, which are the 2 I'm missing, of course. But I watched 1 and 2 all the way through. I've watched them both twice now, just so I can make sure I didn't miss something.
Yeah.
And now it sucks, because I have 5, 6, and 7, but I haven't watched 3 and 4, so I can't watch 5, 6, and 7. Horrible.
I would just pony up the $10 a month and get HBO Now.
It's 15, not
10. 15, yeah.
But at the same time, when I get paid, if I can find 3 and 4, fuck it, I'll buy it. Unless I can find something and be like, hey man, I got it.
Keep hitting up disc replay.
Disc replay?
Keep hitting up disc replay. They'll have it.
Yeah. Well, see, because I found 1 and 2 at Walmart. The
disc replay.
10,
Go to disc
10,
replay.
Like, the special edition ones, I got them for fucking like $15, $20 a piece. I was happy with that. And Blu-ray. Score.
What you want, Nick?
Anything. Really. I feel like we've been going for a minute. Should we call it?
We have been.
Yeah, we're at almost 3 hours.
Let's call it.
Are we really almost at 3 hours?
Yep.
Holy shit.
I'm giving you a Miller Lite.
Oh, the dust is
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap it.
Let's call it.
It's been a good episode.
Dick, thank you for having me.
Of course, man.
I appreciate it.
Good to have you on again.
Definitely more talkative.
Matt, as always. Co-host extraordinaire.
Say your thing.
Nice meeting you, bud.
I'm Matt! Is that what you meant?
Yes.
All right.
Nick, we got to make this happen more.
I know.
And coming up this April for Game of Thrones final season, it will be happening more.
Yes, I'm excited for that.
The Game of King Chairs.
And I'll be on there.
Podcast.
I'm trying to reread the books.
Yeah.
So that I can provide that additional context.
Maybe.
That'd be awesome.
We're gonna have a revolving cast. We'll see what happens.
I never even watched that show.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah, he used to like my Game of Thrones memes whenever I'd post them. I went to talk to him about it, and he'd be like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." I'd be like, "What? I thought you were totally into this because you like every single Game of Thrones meme I throw out there." But no, Game of King Chairs podcast is coming this winter or
spring,
the third winter, mud season. And
Fallout, man, you gotta be ready for it.
Yeah. Well, I haven't even said thank you, Tyler.
Well, finish up then.
I'm glad to be here with Tyler.
Thank you, Tyler.
I'm glad to be here with you, Nick.
I wish I could talk to Tyler more.
You too, man.
This is definitely a very fun podcast.
Oh yeah, this show's always fun.
I like how open-ended it is.
That's the beauty of it.
We try to keep my shows, dedicated to what we're talking about. But I like the open-ended nature of this.
We talk about stuff and things.
Both.
We didn't discuss talking about anything, and I had things I wanted to talk about that I didn't talk about.
We just went fucking ham on it.
We just went in on it.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're hard in the paint, guys.
All right, time to do some plugs. Let's see if I can get through this. So, if you're on the Journey into Comics network, please hop on over to the Podcastrophe solo feed and give us a subscribe. You'll get a bunch of extra content that you don't get on the Journey into Comics network feed. On top of, we're live every Tuesday, and typically anytime we record, we're live. So just like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube,
share it,
sub us on fucking Twitch. You'll get us live on any of those three places, typically on Tuesdays, roughly around 5:30 or 6. But if you haven't already, please check out the Journey into Comics network. You'll get shows like Journey into Comics, Brews with Dudes, Dungeons and Dudes.
That's me.
Pour 360, Crucial Tunes, a brand new show. The Voice of Survival, Gallif Radio, Foodies Watching Movies, Journey into Wrestling. Did I already say Pour 360?
No.
Pour 360, another new show that's basically the same show, but it's a new show. Still very good because you're getting your news. And I really want you, Tyler, and you, Nick, on at the same time.
We need Tyler and I on
Well,
because
hey,
I love Andrew.
When we do this
rule
network
Andrew,
day,
but fuck, I disagree with you sometimes.
When we do this network day, I want all of us on there.
I want to talk / argue
Yeah.
with Mr. Poor.
Have I missed any shows?
I don't think so.
I feel like I'm missing a show.
Foodies.
I said
Oh, and us, Podcastrophe.
I might have one for you to add to the list, but not yet.
Oh.
It's in the works. I need a penny. I don't
Adulting Ain't Easy and Kids for Sale.
Yep.
Those are the
were
only two, but they're in the off season right now, I think. I think Kids for Sale is still going. I don't know.
Two dudes in a truck.
Maybe. If you want to give a buck or two, I haven't plugged this in a while, head on over to the Journey into Comics Network Patreon, and you can get exclusive content. You can get early access to every episode as soon as they're done being edited and shit.
That keeps all of our shows going. We've
Yep.
got, we're talking 10 to 12 shows right now that are all supported through the Journey into Comics Network. So, I give a couple bucks a month, and anybody that can give a buck or two a month, it lets us get all the content out. And we're, this is a very loose subjected, forum where we're able to talk about whatever we want. But between all the other shows, you're able to get whatever content you want. What do you want to talk about? Food, movies, games, beer, bullshit, whatever you want. You can find it on the Journey into Comics Network. Anything that you want. So $1 a month. Like, think about it. Think about the bullshit that you spend when you go to the gas station in the morning and you buy a fucking coffee for $1.70. Just giving $1 to this
month.
A month. Just $1 a month. It's not going to fucking affect you at all. And it's going to make a big difference. It's going to make a big difference for shows like this. So that's my pitch. I really appreciate.
That's a good pitch.
Anytime that I'm on any one of these shows, I love talking to you guys. So
hell
We
yeah,
love you.
it's good to have you on. Seriously, it's been too long. The last time you were seriously on, besides the Doctor Strange one, was with the episode with Brett. That was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
I thought you were going to say Podcastrophe.
Yeah,
that was intense. That was a great episode.
No, I'm butthurt that I don't get invited on shows. So.
Well, you know what? Maybe you'll just be on here more.
It has been a while. I'm going to be on Voice of Survival. I'm excited.
Oh, that's awesome.
That'll be a good one.
That'll be a really good one. I'm excited to listen to that one.
Yeah.
Wait, which one was that? Voice of Survival?
It's where the guy who runs the network, he just talks to people and talks about who they are and what they do and where they came from. And
yeah, it's just an interview style podcast where he just talks about your life.
Very nice.
I'm excited to delve into it.
My idea of the one I want to start is 2 guys in a truck, because our construction, we're in
conservatives in a truck.
Lot of the time. And I mean, really, it's more based along the comedy aspect of it, of all the random bullshit we talk about, and we all find it hilarious, and I feel like other people would.
Yeah.
I just need kind of some advice of how I should go about it. I don't really know how to do a podcast in a truck. I mean, it just kind of throws me off.
Yeah. Technically, all you really need is a cell phone.
That's what I was kind of
just
thinking,
to record.
I wasn't sure, so I was like, man,
We've been there.
I'll ask
Yeah.
pros.
Well, if that is all, that is all. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for listening. Let's please make every day
A
Big Dick Day.
Yeah! Oh, ow! My energy! My energy! Oh! It's coming from my pants! It's coming from my pants!
Man, give me the hell yeah.
Let me go, hell yeah!
Jeff Bezos.
Fuck off!
Yeah, I'm out.
Woke up this morning with my dick in my hand. Girlie's to the right of me, just like I planned. It's gonna be a big dick day. 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 Big dick day. It's gonna be a big dick day. It's gonna be a big